I was a C student, pretty much coasted through fucking high school.
Hey, you ever hear that thing where it says like the A's work for the B's and the C's own the company?
Yeah.
And look at it now.
The analytics team.
Own the company.
The analytics team.
I always say doctors are the best salespeople. You got this complicated heart problem. You need to take this medication. You got to do this. You got to do that.
There's
don't-
two different groups. There's salespeople and then there's car salesmen.
Shelter is something that's never going to go out of style. It's something that
Yeah.
everybody needs. It's a necessity of life. It's like water.
What they call like the American dream. Tell you to go to school. Tell you to buy a home, get a car, get the fan. They require you to go into debt. Why do they want that? It's because the banks make money off of debt.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burn Down Podcast. Today in the studio, we have a guest, our good friend, Roman Vladimirsky from the TVT team. What's up, my brother? Welcome to the Burn Down studio.
I am happy to be here. You said my last name with such perfection.
I tried.
I applaud you for that.
I looked in the mirror. I was like, Vladimirsky, Roman Vladimirsky. But
Roman the realtor.
Roman the realtor on Instagram. But you're finally in the studio. I know we were trying to hook up, trying to do some things, trying to do some content, and I was like, you know what? Let's just get you in the studio. And now you're here. We should tax him though. We should tariff him because he is a Patriot fan. I don't know if you knew that about.
You're a Patriot fan?
Roman here.
Happy.
Yeah, I mean,
Happy Patriot.
hey, listen, I'm sorry that we had to beat the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl, Giants. I'm sorry we had to do that, but
It's okay.
It's,
luck. It's called luck. It's what
listen,
it is.
I'm a Giants fan, so that's the one thing that I can say to you, because everything else that you can combat me,
Giant fan.
I got to take it.
You guys can't hate us. You have to love us. We handed you 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, the 2 ones that Brady lost, we gave them to him. So, well, no, he lost 3, right? He's 7 for 10.
Yes. One against the Eagles.
Yes,
2
the Eagles.
That mother effer has been in 10 Super Bowls.
Dude, you know what's crazy is he's won the Super Bowl more times than some teams have even made it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's won the Super Bowl more times than
Yeah.
some franchises have even made the playoffs.
He's lost more Super Bowls than some teams have even been.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's a
That's a cool
stat,
stat.
dude.
That's why you gotta show him respect. The GOAT.
Did you see him? He's doing his because he turned
Announcer.
what he turned 45 or 50 or something like that. So he's doing like the NFL Combine, like he ran the 40-yard dash, and he's actually faster now than when he did it.
No shot. Really?
Yeah, he's like a little bit faster. They did like a ghost run where they had his 40-yard time when he came out of college, and then he just did one. He's like, I wonder what my max bench press is now, and he's like, I'm 50 years old. And he put up like 245.
Yeah, he's probably in way better shape than he was back then.
Yeah, but all he eats is like grilled chicken and broccoli. He's like the perfect specimen. You ever see Ted when it's like they try to rob Tom Brady's house and they take the covers off and it's like, oh, he's like got a golden dick.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yes.
it's like, no wonder, of course, he's Tom Brady.
Well, we got
Anyway.
Roman Vladimirsky. Roman, what nationality is that?
Ukrainian.
Ukrainian. So for the people who don't know, who are watching, listen, he is the owner and founder of TVT, the TVT team, and it's a real estate organization, real estate company. What would you call it?
So we are exactly that. We're a real estate team within Keller Williams.
Okay.
Based out of
White Plains, New York.
White Plains. So for people that don't know, White Plains is just north of Manhattan.
Yeah.
A little bit north.
Little
Okay.
bit.
It's not upstate.
No.
Okay, but
No.
it's
Oh.
I'm surprised
you're coming
by
around.
that.
it's not.
It's not upstate.
it's not
Westchester is
upstate.
not upstate.
No, Westchester's not upstate. I know some people that had said it. I'm like, no, you're not even close.
No,
Okay.
wrong.
You have always said it was upstate. Now he's turned.
No,
Really?
Westchester. I've never said it. I've been
Bro.
against it. I've been against that. People say, "Oh, I'm from
I'm
upstate."
sure
I'm
if
like,
we
no,
go
no,
back
no.
on the podcast, I can find you saying upstate.
No,
Yeah.
We got to talk to the editing team.
no,
I
that's
need-
my
I need
that's
that-
yeah.
that
that's like
footage.
my buddy who moved up to like Austin. He's like, I'm upstate. I'm like,
Nope, still not upstate.
I'm like, I was like, listen, if you're like within an hour to
me is
Manhattan,
like pushing it though.
I like
That's
you. No,
pushing it.
Albany, you're upstate.
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
For me, upstate-
Rochester, you're
Yes,
upstate. Okay,
yes. Orange County and
Over
Orange
the Tappan
County
Zee.
and North.
Over in Tappan
Like-
Zee?
Not because
No, you still gotta go.
Rockland. You
Okay.
gotta go when when it's more green than there are
Yes.
buildings.
That-
All right,
That's
so,
when you're
So
upstate.
you're the real estate guru, right? Westchester. So what is your explanation between why Westchester, Rockland County, Orange County isn't technically upstate?
If I can get to Manhattan in 30 minutes
Thank you.
by train
Thank
or
you.
car,
Yeah.
you're not upstate.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry.
Because think about,
I agree.
I mean, think about this. If you look at the entire state as a whole, if you're in Westchester, you're more downstate than you are upstate.
Yeah,
very true.
Okay,
That's actually a very good point. Yes.
And because I'm originally from Long Island, but I moved to Westchester, so all my buddies are like, "You're upstate, you're upstate." I'm like, "Well, your train ride to Manhattan is an hour and a half on a good day. Mine is 30 minutes, no matter what. So who's really what? You know,
Who's really where?
yeah,
it's not upstate.
It's not upstate. So
Anyway, so it's good to have you on the show.
I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for coming to sit with us here and have a little conversation. We're smoking the Diligence new cigar, just came out.
you are the first guest to smoke the
You're
Diligence.
the first
It's a
guest to
fantastic
smoke the
cigar.
Diligent.
I'm not, the Tony Peck of cigars or anything.
Yeah.
But this is fantastic.
Okay. It's a more milder cigar, maybe
Smooth.
from your more your speed, because I know you don't smoke too many cigars, but you do smoke cigars.
But I enjoy smoking the Blueprint.
Yeah, well,
So now, if you like, so now you smoke them both. Now you smoke this one, and then on your ride home later, you smoke the other one.
we make it all versatile, baby. It's all versatile.
First class service here all the way on the Burn Down podcast.
Dude, that's what we do. That's what we
Come
do
on.
here.
We give you drinks, we give you cigars, we try to offer you some food, but hey, you're here. So tell us a little bit about Roman. I know who you are. Justin knows who you are. But kind of give the people who are watching and listening kind of a little bit of your story. I know you did a little bit of you worked at ESPN, right? At CBS
Yes.
back in the day.
Yeah, tell us about like the road to get to
Who was Roman in high
TVT,
school?
right?
Who was Roman in
like
high
let's
school,
take us
right?
take us
Man,
back.
Roman in high school.
Think it's like
Yeah.
how'd you end up where you are right now with TVT?
So I think it started in high school. I was always I was a C student. I pretty much coasted through fucking high school.
hey,
Hated
C's get degrees, man.
That was me too, brother.
Hated school, hated everything about it, and I just wanted to go out and I wanted to make money.
Where'd you go to high school?
In the Bronx.
Okay. In the
You
boogie
It's
down.
funny that you say to C that I was a C student. You ever hear that thing where it says like the A's work for the B's and the C's own the company?
Yes, I've seen that before, yeah.
And look at it now.
The
C's
analytics team.
own the company.
The analytics team. Yeah.
The A students work for the B students, and the C students own the companies.
But it's funny. In high school, I was always doing shit like that. Like I would take my mom's car when she would go to bed, and I would drive people around and make money.
You
At
were a
16
chauffeur. You
years
were a
old.
chauffeur.
I was
Yeah.
Uber before Uber. I tell everybody that.
Really? Did you have like a whole business? You set up a whole you had cars and everything? And
No, it was just for the kids in school. Like, you need to go somewhere later. You want to go to a party? I'll drive you there.
How much
you
you
want to go
charge?
to the airport? I will drive you there. It was like $10-15 back then. It probably wasn't anywhere nearly enough
That's a good idea, though.
to cover
still.
gas. I used to burn CDs for people.
Oh, brother.
That's a
Back
big.
in
That
the
was
day.
me.
Yeah.
That was big.
That was me in
Yeah.
high
That was
school.
big. Give me a playlist. Let's go.
Bro, I had the whole book, the binder, the CD book.
I should have charged. If I could have charged $1,
$5 a CD I charged.
I could. See, I didn't have the entrepreneurial spirit back in high school. I was just kind of doing it for
It was
fun.
easy.
I wish I did charge $5 because I probably this podcast studio probably would have been twice as big if I did that. Because
Bro.
I was the guy in high school everyone that came to for music. Eric, I'm going on vacation. I need a burnt CD. I'm having a party. I need a burnt CD. And I was like, no doubt, I got you. LimeWire.
LimeWire.
Download it all.
LimeWire.
Kazaa.
Remember that?
That was like, it's funny because Napster was the big one, but then nobody used Napster.
But you know what it was?
Everybody used
I never
LimeWire.
got viruses because my dad is an electrical engineer, and there was one year where he was doing testing on a Mac computer, and he was done testing with it, and he brought it home. He's like, "Here, Eric, here's a computer." And someone told me that Mac computers can't get viruses.
At the time, yeah.
yeah.
Now you can get any computer can get a virus, but
I guess
Macs
from
are less susceptible.
LimeWire.
I've never gotten a virus on a Mac.
Yeah, it's
No.
like because when Mac came out, all of the computers, everything that all the viruses were for
Right.
Windows.
operating system.
Yeah.
And Mac came out, and like nobody used the Mac. So when there was a new computer, all the virus they just didn't work on the same operating system. Now I'm sure you can get a virus on
Yeah.
anything, but yeah, I remember back in the
And
day.
I was like, "Oh shit!" Because everyone was like, "How do you not get viruses?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's a Mac."
just like your phone,
got a
like
lot
your
of
phone,
viruses.
your phone doesn't really
True.
Never.
get viruses.
So entrepreneur in high school, starting out.
Yep. And then went. What would we say? I'm like a doctor. It took me 7 years to get my 4-year degree in college. Because again, hated fucking school. Just wanted to work. Started out at WCC, transferred to Mercy for a little bit, and then eventually got my degree from CUNY School of Professional Studies. And I know you never heard of it.
You had to think about that.
Yes,
Huh?
yes. It was
CUNY School of Professional
Professional
Studies.
Studies. So it's an all online school.
Interesting.
That's
fully
why you went.
100%
That's why you
online.
went there.
That's why I went there.
Yeah. You said, what? Where is this?
And it
Online?
took me a
Sign
while.
me up.
Was it like one of those commercials that you saw on TV, like back in the day?
I don't even know how the fuck I found it.
It was like, I need my college degree. I need credits.
I went to ITT, right?
but I wish somebody in high school told me that you don't need to go to college.
Yeah.
That's an option.
I feel like
you'll
that's
still
but
survive.
I feel like that's the message now. Like people are
I
starting.
hope
to see.
so.
It's
I really do.
I mean, there's a guy you actually sent to me, and I watched it. It was a great clip. But there's a gentleman, Charlie Kirk. Have you seen Charlie Kirk? Charlie Kirk is a he didn't go to college.
He owns
right?
What's he own?
But he is a
what is it? I'll tell you.
he's one of those guys that kind of goes to college campuses and says like makes a statement, says prove me wrong, and then people will come up and try to debate him, and he's just very, very knowledgeable, very well spoken, has a lot of information, backs up his statements.
Turning Point USA he founded.
Turning Point USA, and he's a political figure.
Yeah.
And he had said, so he did this video where he sat in the middle of like 25 just like young college students, young college liberals, and he's obviously right wing. And he'll say a statement like college is a scam. And then they hit a button and like anybody can come and sit down and try to debate him. And he just wipes the floor with all these kids because they're young and dumb and they think they know everything and they're not knowledgeable. They'll try to combat and they'll try to say something and have nothing to back it up. And then he'll just fire. And he has all these. And so one of the things was college is a scam. And I'm like, and I've said it a while too. I'm like, listen, I think college is or can be a scam because
depending on what you want to do,
unless you're going for doctorate or like you want to be a doctor, okay, you want to be a dentist, you want to be an engineer, you want to be a lawyer, right? All of these things, I would hope that you go to school and you study, right? The guy who's doing surgery on a knee, I would hope that he went to school and studied about human anatomy, about knees, right? But if you want to own a business, you don't need to go to school. You want to become a painter? You don't need to go to study art history to become a painter.
Especially if, I went to business. I went to school. My major was business. Why the fuck do I need to pay you to take earth science?
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Why? So it's not, I agree, it's not fully a scam, but there are parts of it that I think just take advantage of people.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he had said, which was a great, like he would sit down and he would say, all right, listen, here are the terms. College is a scam. College being 4-year degree, not including community school, and scam being you're not getting an equivalent value of what you're putting in. The money that you put in, you're not getting equivalent value.
And then
that's
you're
a scam.
Spend years and years trying to pay it back,
right?
And maybe never pay it back.
And he said the thing with like you had mentioned with earth science, you want to get a degree in business, and you're putting I'm going to give you X amount of dollars to teach me business. Why am I forced to take an earth science class
or a language class
or language? I'm not paying you to learn that. You know.
Look, here you go. So, I went to school for marketing. I had to take an art class, and I still have it today.
Why?
I was like in a clay figuring class. I had to make
ceramics.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I did that.
And it was a night class. But I'm like, but why do I need this?
Because you need an elective.
You need to be a well-rounded person. I'd rather save a couple grand to not take this class. But yeah, my wife and I, we always said one of our terms was like, our kids can go to college. They don't need to go to college if they want to. If I have a son, put him in a trade, electrician, plumber, let him be an apprentice.
Encourage it.
Let him be an apprentice, learn, get his, master plumber's license 8 years in, if not. And after 8 years, if he goes in at 18, he's 26? He's like, I don't want to be a blue-collar guy anymore. I want to go to school. All right, no doubt.
Yeah.
You're 26, super young, go to school, learn something.
You could be out by 30.
Pay for it yourself.
And you pay for yourself, but also you can fall back on it if you don't like school.
Yeah.
So, it's
and it depends on the personality, too, because, I'm not a handy person.
Yeah.
I call plumbers, electricians, and, paint. I call everybody for everything because I can't do it. But, like we said before, I had that entrepreneurial spirit where if somebody could tell me, hey, I'm going to teach you how to build a business and build a brand and do all these fucking things, I would have done it. Yeah. I wouldn't have wasted 7 years, $30,000 on what? But it wasn't fully a waste. In the business classes, I did learn a lot.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Stuff that I still use to this day.
Right. And that's it's one of the things I always say is if you're not going to, you have to think about the return on your investment, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm going to go to school, okay, and this is for anybody that wants to go to school. You want to go to school. Whatever degree that you want to get, the job that you get out of school better pay you enough to be able to pay 100%. Back your student loan because it's a return on investment. If you put in $100,000 and you're going to go $100,000 in debt, to get a degree in something that's going to pay you $35,000 a year when you get out, that's a stupid investment.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, it does not cover that debt.
No. And $100,000 nowadays is low.
I mean, my career, I'm an insurance broker. You don't need to go to college for that. You could get get your broker's license and just have a high school degree. You got to pass the state test, and that's it.
My stepdad Bill did just graduated high school, right? That's it. Didn't go to school. Owned and operated 3 successful businesses. His entire just learned it. He's like, and he was in like the printing, advertising, graphics business.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he walked in one day to a job offer, and they're like, hey, we're doing printing. Do you know how to run this machine? He goes, yeah, I can run that machine. Had no fucking clue what he was doing. He's like, yeah, I could do that. No problem. They're like, all right, you're hired. Day 1, he goes to the guy's like, I have no idea how to run this. You got to tell me. He's like, no problem. I'll teach you. Learned it. Next thing you know, retired, millionaire,
Good to go.
successful businesses, no problem. Like, he goes, I didn't go to college. I just learn it. Like, you don't need to go to college to.
Well, I think back then, I mean, when I say back then, I'm talking about like 70s, 80s. You know, college was like the golden ticket. Prestigious, right?
Yeah.
Because like my father and Justin worked together. My dad always says my college degree is the best investment I ever had because he's an electrical engineer, does very well, travels, does anything he wants. But you know, today, I don't know if it's the same. Like, I'm sure when you go on an engineer, you're gonna have you get good money. But I don't know if it's the same equivalency from when he went to where engineers are now today. If that makes sense.
I also think that the cost of school, the cost of education, is much different. Back when like your dad went to school, I think it was a little bit more realistic. Of hey, you want to go to school, it's going to cost you
just like everything else.
You know, what did your dad probably pay? $5,000 a semester?
Yeah, maybe.
So like at the end of and when you look at it, where it's $5,000. Let's say it is $5,000. I don't know what it was. He graduated in like '86 or something, right?
Yeah.
So let's say it was $5,000 a semester. So your school is, or maybe it was $2,500. It's $5,000 a year. So let's say you take $20,000 out. But when you graduate, you're going to make your electrical engineer. You're going to start at like $30K. Right. So I'm like, okay, you start at a salary that is more than what you're doing. But now you go to school for the same school, because I went to the same school your dad went to. Now it's like $60,000 a year. So you're going to come out with $250,000 for a starting salary that's maybe $80K.
Yeah. So you're set up for failure.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's not right. Like it's not equivalent to.
And on that note, you know, transition it to real estate. I think real estate is even like buying a home is even harder.
It's tough.
Oh yeah, like, I wanted to ask you about this
because I watched some like real estate guys who just do like simple breakdowns, like buying a house in 1980. Median household income. Yeah. Household.
I got the data.
You got it. Well, let's get the real estate guy to talk about.
I know
his
before we get in, because I went into it. I went down the rabbit hole one day. Somebody was saying me like, "Oh, you guys, you should get this," and I'm like, "Fuck you! I know. I'm gonna pull." I pulled up all the freaking. I got receipts, baby. I laid it out there. I'm like, "Oh shit!" So let's talk about how you got into,
real estate.
Before we go down that real estate.
Yeah. So after I did graduate college, I magically, because I knew somebody, landed an internship at ESPN Radio in the city. It was local New York radio. And I did an internship for a semester. And then after that, they hired me for a whopping $10 an hour.
Nice.
Yeah. Doing promotions and marketing stuff.
And when was this? This was
2012-ish.
2012.
12-ish, I would say.
Now you can go to McDonald's and get $15 an hour and flip burgers if you want.
And this wasn't, and I wasn't even, I was there, but I was technically an independent contractor that they hired. I wasn't even an ESPN employee.
Oh, okay.
And
this was ESPN out of Connecticut?
No, in Manhattan.
Oh, in Manhattan, because I know
New York Radio.
Oh, okay, because I think their headquarters is
in Bristol, Connecticut.
Yeah, in Connecticut.
You drive by there, the fucking satellites outside that building.
I've been in the facility. I've sat on the Sports Center set. Fucking awesome experience.
Oh my god!
You took a picture of that?
Lots. I got tons.
Yeah.
How'd you get in there?
So eventually, I was hired.
Oh, okay.
To be. I was still part time. And then I think the salary went up to $12 an hour.
Nice.
20% increase.
So I did get hired, and they send you up for what's called rookie camp. And you spend 3 days, I believe, in Bristol. They give you a tour of the campus. They give you a tour of like the company and how everything works. Because they're owned by Disney, so it's a whole production.
Were they owned by Disney when you were there?
Yes. They've been owned by Disney for quite some time.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Disney owns them. They own ABC.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a whole conglomerate.
Disney owns a lot. I'm telling you, eventually there's going to be like 5 companies that own the world.
I know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's going that way, right?
But being on that campus was like, I'm a big sports fan. So working for ESPN, I'm like, this is my dream. I'm gonna be at this company forever. I'm gonna be a marketing director. I'm gonna be fucking awesome. I'm gonna be the shit.
$12 an hour.
$12 an hour. So I'm like, all right, I got to pay my dues. It's
Yeah.
gonna take some time. I got to pay my dues, and then
You got to come off the bench.
2016 rolls around. I'm still in the same position. I'm working 50 hours a week, $12 an hour.
So now
Really?
this is
Still.
4. This is 4 years.
4 years
in.
later.
4 years later,
They still.
I'm committed, and promotions are coming, full-time jobs coming, blah blah blah.
You're still waiting full time then?
Wait, I was not full-time, but I was working full-time hours.
Really?
Hear me out.
Wow.
Like I was working full-time hours.
But you were independent contractor.
No, at this point I was already hired. So 2012 I was hired as an independent contractor. Maybe 2013-ish, a year and a half later, they actually hired me as an employee.
But it wasn't a full time, so you
It was
didn't
not-
get
it
any
was a
full time
part-
benefit.
I was a part-time promotions assistant. That was my
Oh,
title.
but you were working 40 hours a week, so
I was
you were
working-
like
I was
getting the
working a
shit
lot.
end
And
of
what
the
were you
stick
doing?
there.
Like, what was your actual
So
day to day?
we would work a lot on the contests, the on-air contests, giveaways. I would be at. Are you a Jet fan?
Yeah.
I would be at every Jet home game.
Oh, sick.
So
So that's
do
kind
you
of a
ever-
nice perk.
Oh, dude, the perks are fantastic, but you can't make a living like
No,
that.
you can't. No,
You
that's
can't.
yeah.
Like my wife is my girlfriend at the time, and it's conversations about like, all right, what's next in life?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, $12 an hour.
You're like, promotion's
I don't
coming,
know what's
honey.
next
Like,
in
yeah.
life. I don't know yet. So but I was interviewing within the company for like 2 or 3 years.
For any position or any
Fucking position, any
Anything-
full-time position,
anything that made more than 12 an hour.
within the company,
Yeah.
outside of New York, even like I would go on interviews, and they would always promote within their department. So I'm like, fuck, all right, I need something within my department to get this promotion, and it never happened. And I interviewed for a job at CBS Radio, now WFAN, the competitor, and the full-time position paid $35,000 a year, which is probably exactly the same.
Yeah. Comes out
But it was
to
a full-time job. I'm like, all right, fuck it, I got to do this. I was miserable. The environment, I don't care, I'll say this on air, I've said it before, it was a pretty hostile work environment.
and this was
CBS Radio.
CBS Radio.
Well,
So like
how was it
CBS
hostile?
Sports and
what made it hostile?
There was just like, you come from a place like at ESPN Radio where, okay, fine, you're waiting forever for a promotion, but everybody was a family. Everybody taught you. You worked together. It was a collaborative effort where it's like, you come here and it's like, here, do this. Oh yeah, we're working late tonight, but don't bother putting in for overtime. Kind of like that. I was like,
and everyone was like watching over your shoulder.
so
Yeah,
that was like a
managing.
true the
Yeah.
grass isn't always greener
oh yeah,
moment.
exactly. And this was 2016 now, and in November my stepfather passes away, and I had it. It was sudden for us, and I took some time off of work, and I would be getting texts from my boss like, all right, when are you coming back? I'm like, dude, do you understand what just happened here?
How long is it? Was it like a couple weeks? He's like, hey, you got
So
to come back.
he had a stroke, so he was in the hospital for a week, where I wasn't going into work. I was in the hospital every day.
Yeah.
And then he died. So then there's the wake and the funeral, and then so it was like 2 weeks. But
And your boss is texting
Yes,
you after 2
but
weeks.
we get those days. It's in the fucking policies.
Yeah.
Like the bereavement, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Like, you get the time. And he's like, up my ass. I'm like, the fuck am I doing here?
Even if it's not in the time, it's called be a decent human being.
Common courtesy.
Common courtesy.
Common
And
courtesy.
that's the shame about a lot of
Yeah.
corporate, like the corporate structure, is you're just a number.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit. If you died tomorrow, they would replace you on the
Yeah.
next day.
Oh, we're sorry to hear about that, but hey, look,
Yeah,
You're just a
start
fucking
finding hires.
number,
You're
and
a
that's
number.
what's like
Yeah.
when that clicks, you're just like fuck you, like
Yeah.
you know.
But it wouldn't have been like that if it happened when I was at ESPN. I'm
In,
pretty
not
convinced
in
about
most
that.
places, not in
Yeah.
not in every place,
Yeah.
but I've heard stories like that
Yeah.
where it's just brutal.
It's
and
definitely
like,
out there.
it's out there.
Well, this guy has since been fired for conduct.
Okay, yeah, no surprise,
Yeah.
right?
No surprise at all.
Just how could you
Vegas.
say that to somebody, right? Like a week, the conversation I'd follow up like, hey, hope everything, like, how you holding up? Is everything all right? Like,
Right.
you know, do you need anything from us? Like, listen, your job's here. As soon as you come back, whenever
That
you're
happened
ready,
the first
right?
day. And then not
Yeah,
so
it
much
kinda
after.
faded.
And then if you'd
It
be like, hey,
faded, yeah.
listen, you know, I'm struggling. I kind of need it a little bit.
Or-
No, take as much
Or
time
a good
as you need.
question
Don't
would
worry about
be
it.
how much time do you think you need?
Yeah.
Just to gauge. Because
about
if you're
that?
like, I need 6 months, he's going to be like, all right, well, maybe we can't do it. If you're like,
Yeah.
maybe I need a month, I'd be like, all right, we can work
I
on
didn't
that.
need a month. I just, again, funeral, wake, like
Yeah.
it's just shit.
Normal
Or
time.
even
normal stuff.
Even go back and say, hey, listen, like, you know, whenever you're ready, even if you wanted to come back like a day or two a week, not necessarily full time, to kind of slow.
Right.
That's fine too.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready,
Work it
And
out.
this was before the work from home life started. So that wasn't really
that wasn't even a thing. Yeah.
Which is kind of a good thing that happened as a result of
I think
the whole
so.
COVID thing. Is the
think so.
working from home.
Yeah.
Like
If
I
it
think
fits
it's a
your
good-
personality.
Yeah,
Especially starting a young family. It's
Oh yeah.
awesome.
Oh, it's my wife and I talk about it all the time. It's like it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like such a blessing. But anyway, so now what happens after
So
CBS?
I'm there, and after my stepfather died, I got really close with one of his best friends. And his best friend owned a small boutique commercial brokerage in Newark, New Jersey. And I live in Westchester. So he's like, listen, we have no social media presence. We know nothing about marketing. We're old dinosaurs.
And this is roughly what 2017.
This is still 2016.
2016?
This is a couple of months after my stepdad died. And he's telling me, he's like, just why don't you come work for me? I'll pay you $3,000 a month.
And
That's the same.
you're like that's literally the same.
I'm
and
like,
now I'm working.
you know
with,
what? Fuck it. I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I have to get out of here.
It's quality of life at that
Quality
point.
of
right?
life. He said, just come to Newark 3 days a week. Everything else you can stay home and work from
And
home.
you're like, sign me up.
Yeah,
Say
let's fucking
less.
do it. Let's
Yeah.
go.
And
So
all I have to do is sit on
Yeah.
social media all day long.
and he paid for me to get my New Jersey real estate license. So I got my license in New Jersey. I'm over there. I'm I created Twitter and Instagram for them. Like they had no clue. They were clueless about it. And I'm watching these guys. I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking cool. And I never wanted to be in sales. Everybody always told me you need to be in sales. Never wanted to be in sales because I hate salespeople. I hate being sold things. I don't like the griminess of certain people. The
Salespeople get a
Yeah,
bad rap.
there's a stigma.
They do.
There's a
They gotta-
stigma about,
but for good reason.
Yeah.
There's a
because-
stigma about it. Yeah.
There's salespeople and there's people who genuinely help and guide people.
I like to say there's salespeople and there's either advisors,
Yeah.
there's partners.
Yes.
Because when because when you say I'm a salesman, you're like, ugh.
There's
Yeah.
there's
I
there's
don't-
two different
yeah.
groups. There's salespeople and then there's car salesmen.
Used car sales.
And that's
There's-
a big part why
Yeah.
salespeople get
Yeah.
reps. Is
There's people that sell
sorry.
cars and then people that sell used cars.
Yeah.
Those are the two categories.
So I never wanted
Lighter?
Yeah, I'm light.
Yeah, like a used car salesman is like the guy from Matilda.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You gotta roll the miles back,
Those people are still around.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm big, you're small. I'm smart, you're dumb.
I love that. That was a great movie. Yeah, so I'm watching these guys. I'm like, I can really do this, but not in Newark. I need to go. If I can apply what these guys are doing in an area that I know, I'll be pretty fucking good at it.
Yeah.
So I called the state of New York and I said, listen, I just got my New Jersey license. Do I have to retake the course in New York? Can I just show you that I took the New Jersey course? And they let me do it. So I bypassed the course in New York and all I had to do was take the state test, which I passed because it was stupid easy.
Oh, so you just said, hey, can I just take the test?
Yes. So
And
I
they're like,
bypassed
okay.
the New York course. I didn't have to retake because I just did it.
Which,
Yeah.
you know what? It makes you think.
And because New
Like, do
Jersey's
you,
not
for anything, like, let's say I were to go up to New York and say, hey, listen, can I take the test? I didn't take any course. I didn't do anything. I just read. I ordered a bunch of books off Amazon and I read, can I take the test? And then if I pass, get my license.
No.
Why not?
rules.
Like if
Laws.
I know the
Laws.
same amount of information to pass the test as does somebody who took a course and I get a higher grade than them,
But there's no documentation of it.
but I'm just saying, who's to say like
And
that,
you didn't pay for a course.
I know. And you didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you think
But-
about it,
but
right?
just-
Like, if we both
so
take
the-
a test,
the course
doesn't
is
matter
for-
how you learned your information, doesn't matter how I learned
Yeah.
the information. If I get a higher score than you do, I know more about that than you do.
I just think that opens up a bucket of
Here's
worms.
what I'm going to
Yeah.
say to that. I think it's stupid fucking easy to become a real estate agent anywhere in this country, and that's the problem. That's why, like, the barriers to entry to our industry are pretty much non-existent. The fact that you just take a 75-hour course and a 50-question test is ridiculous, and you help people buy and sell their biggest investment of their life. That's why people don't like us.
So would you say that it's easy to be a real estate agent, but not easy to be a good real estate agent?
It's easy to become a real estate agent.
Yeah,
it's
become.
not easy to be a real estate agent.
Yeah,
That's a better way to put it.
Yeah,
That's why I'm not a real estate
yeah.
agent. Okay?
Yeah.
That's why he's
Yeah.
in the industry that he's
But
in.
it is. But it's very true because I got my real estate license during right before COVID, a couple of years before COVID, and I started a new sales job. But then during COVID, I was like, "Fuck it, I got extra time. I need more money. Let's try and do real estate and work in a new sales job. And real estate is sales as well. You have to build up your whole portfolio. That was a whole other beast in itself. So just to say, being a real estate agent is easy. is not.
It's not.
Becoming is easy.
You know what's crazy though is it's like when you think about it, you had said that real estate is sales. If you think about it, everything in life is sales. You're selling something at no matter what job you're in.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Why is that?
Nice.
Because
Let's go.
I don't think real estate agents are salespeople. I think the fact that we have salesperson in our title is the stupidest thing in the world. Because I'm not going door to door saying, "Hey, you want to buy a house?" Like if you tell me, Roman, I want to sell my house, move to Westchester. You see what I did there, right?
Yeah. He's trying to get me to move to Westchester. Ain't gonna happen.
If you tell me I want to sell this house, I'm gonna guide you to get your house in the best position for it to sell. I'm not gonna be the one going and selling it. We're guides. Okay. We don't necessarily go, hey, I'm gonna go. Come buy this. The only reason I would go door to door is to meet new potential clients.
Now, your potential clients. So let's say you have a house, right, that you're selling, and people are coming to look at the house,
right?
Are you not trying to sell the house to the people that are now? You have the one person who is selling the house, the owner of the house,
correct?
But now you have new people that are looking to buy. Are you not trying to sell the house to those people?
I'm providing material facts about the house.
Is that not selling?
I don't think so.
Now, you may not necessarily be like I'm not selling you. I may not be selling you the house.
I think it's a form.
It's a form of selling, and I want to put it this way: you're not selling a product. It's not like you made. It's not like you made the house, and I'm selling you the house.
Right.
I'm selling you the vision and the dreams and the home that you want to move into. So I'm selling you an idea of this could be your home.
Yeah.
Not necessarily I'm selling you this house. This is how much it costs. I'm telling you all these things and the facts about the house that might line up with the things that you are looking for.
Is that selling though?
But I'm saying it's a different form.
I think it is. It's
marketing.
You're guiding someone into purchasing.
I think we're more marketers than we are salespeople.
I think it.
Well, marketing's part of sales.
Yes, it is.
So that's why I think it's different.
I think it's very imperative for real estate. I think marketing and sales are very hand in hand with real estate because in other sales positions, other sales jobs, marketing and sales are two completely different industries. Like I could be a marketing person and be like, Roman, we got this great new program and we got this, and it's like, well, people don't like it, so stop pushing it.
At ESPN, when I was there and CBS, those are two different departments that have to work together.
Yeah,
to sell the product.
So I think I think there's like a direct sales and then an indirect sales. And I also, when I was saying the comment about I think everything is everybody's selling at some point. A perfect example is when you go into a job. Let's say you're applying for an engineering job and it's not a sales job. You're going to be working on designing the next iPhone. When you're in that interview, you are selling yourself to the person that is interviewing you.
Yeah. Correct.
So
if
you
we're
are
selling anything, you're selling our services.
So you're selling your services. You're like,
why am
selling.
I better than the next guy?
Yeah. Why are people going when they want to sell their house? Why do they want to work with you and not Eric?
Yeah.
Right.
So you're not necessarily selling the house, but you're selling yourself.
That is fair. I'll give you that one.
Pause. But
why? What'd you say?
I said you're selling yourself.
Oh,
pause.
That's not really a pause moment.
What kind of podcast is
this?
Right.
So I think that maybe it's not direct sell. Like I'm not selling the house. I'm selling you my personality and my services that can help you accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish. And in this case, it's you want your house to go for the highest amount that possible.
And I always say doctors are the best salespeople because you can go into a doctor and be like, Roman, you got this complicated heart problem. You need to take this medication. You got to do this. You got to do that. And you got to do this.
17 scans.
Yeah. And what do you say? Oh, okay. If that's what you think, then boom.
Dude, we can go down that rabbit hole if you want, man. I actually saw it. No, it's funny. It's a funny joke. I just saw it recently. The guy said, he goes, I think veterinarians. I think the veterinarian office is the biggest scam there is. He goes, what you got to do? You want to know how to save some money when you go to the vet? He goes, you got to act like you don't give a flying fuck about your dog. He goes, your dog sprains their knee or something. He take it in. He'd be like, doc, my dog limping around, sprained his knee. How much to put him down? And whoa, put him down. He's just sprained his knee. It can be a couple days. That's what I thought. Well, fuck yourself. Walk right out. He goes, if you don't come in, doc, sprained his leg. What am I going to do? Oh, we got to do this. We got to do this. Put him a shot here. Put him in a cast. And $3,000 later. Walk in. How much put him down? Whoa, wait a second. I was like, it's kind of true.
Yeah. I don't know if it's always easy as that. But yeah, I get your point.
No, but I feel
I
like
don't have any dogs, but you should test that theory.
Yeah.
It's funny.
You should.
I actually have a we have 2 dogs, and my dog is a little Chihuahua Terrier. Charlie's about 12 pounds, and my sister's dog is a Pomeranian. But Charlie goes in and, like, she had to get all her teeth, most of her teeth removed, which is normal. A lot of them don't do anything anyway. She just needs her canines and the chompers in the back. And so she got all this stuff done, and they, like, gave the bill. And we were friends with the vet. My wife cleans their house, so we kind of got hooked up and stuff. But I'm looking at the bill, and I'm like, $600. I'm like, $600? That's like $75 a pound. I haven't paid that much for meat in a while, ever. $75 a pound. But it's yeah. I think sometimes when you get into those situations, you're right. People can pick up on your emotions, and some of them take advantage of you. That they know, oh my God, this is your baby, and it's like, you gotta save you. I'll do anything, Doc. You'll do anything? Okay, well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep your dog for 4 days. We're gonna put him at this. Next thing you know, it's like,
dude, I've been doing sales for over 10 years, and I've seen them. I've seen all the tactics. I've seen everything, how to play on people's emotions.
Oh yeah,
I don't. You do have to. I wouldn't say play with people's emotions, but you have to pick up on what irks people. And that's what you have to focus on.
Pick up their pain point.
Pain points, exactly. But I wouldn't say, like, listen, you don't want your baby to die. Right. You got to do that. You don't want your baby... Because that feels ingenuous to when I say it like that, But I'm saying, but there's a different way of saying it. Like, listen, the best thing for your kid is if you want to do X, Y, and Z, that way he's in the best position, so you can do blah, 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 blah.
I'd be like, give me the information on all that stuff. Let me go through it, and I'll make the decision, okay?
Yeah. And I'm sure it's the same in your industry too. In insurance, I think the best salespeople just shut the fuck up and listen.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily about always having the answer and giving a diagnosis. It's about listening to their needs,
what they want. They talk the most, I just sit back and I just let them talk. It's the best.
And that's the hardest thing, because I'm in sales too. I was electrical engineer, but now I'm on the sales side of things. But it's the hardest thing is when you sit down with a customer is getting them to talk. You want that, like, if you sit down and they did most of the talking, that was a very successful sales.
Because you ask questions.
Yeah, and
follow-up questions.
And I found out that it doesn't matter what industry. If you're in insurance, if you're in real estate, if you're in semiconductors, people don't buy the product. People buy you.
Yep. 100%.
They don't give a shit about the product. Everybody's got this, like, especially in our semiconductor. Everybody has a part that does it. Yeah. We have there's 6, 7. There's
not many markets out there that where it's like, oh, there's only one guy.
They all do it.
Real estate's oversaturated. Semiconductors oversaturated. Insurance definitely is oversaturated
for now.
They buy you.
I mean real estate people, I should say.
I think a lot of real estate agents are going to be out of the business very shortly.
You think so?
I know so.
Oh,
I know so.
Hot take.
Oh,
let's hear
it. Take.
Why is that?
Have you guys watched the news lately? Recent
yes.
NAR settlement.
Regrettably.
NAR settlement that happened recently.
Is this where one side of the sale doesn't collect a commission?
Nope. That's misinformation.
That's misinformation?
That's misinformation. So what happened was...
Fake news.
It's not fake. It's just the delivery of the news has been ridiculous around this specific topic. I'm not getting into any other topics.
I didn't think it was right in the first place, but...
So there was I guess it started with somebody in Missouri where the person, traditionally, if you're going to sell your house, I'm going to charge you X, and I'm going to use letters because we can't actually say commissions out loud now. I'm going to use X. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's crazy. So you charge a specific commission, and then of that commission, as the listing agent, you would share a part of that with a potential buyer's agent. So if Justin was selling his house, he has a realtor. You come in, you want to buy his house, you have a realtor. And that commission that Justin agreed to pay is typically shared.
It has to be the buyer and the seller. You have to sign a thing for the buyer and the seller.
Correct.
One person. Okay, that's what it is.
Say that again.
So if you decide to sell your house,
yes,
you hire a real estate agent to sell your house.
I hire you.
You hire me. Me and you agree on a fee. A percentage.
Okay, X.
Right, X. And of that percentage, I say, Justin, I'm going to share this portion of that percentage with a buyer's agent when they bring the buyer.
Oh, okay, because the buyer is looking for a house.
Correct.
So they hire an agent to go find one. Correct. I hire an agent to sell one. Whatever we agree on, you're going to split it with their buyer.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. So it doesn't work the opposite where them and the buyer agree on something.
So hear me out now. Now, this lawsuit that started, the seller in this case was like, well, why do I have to pay the buyer's agent's commission?
Okay, which valid question.
Right. So the point is
Because
now
they're like, I didn't hire them, I hired you. So why do I got to pay
Right.
them? Okay,
But-
valid question.
But you doing it's called cooperative compensation. You giving out a cooperative compensation is part of marketing your house. It's part of it. I'm charging you X. That's my fee. That's not going to change. I chose to share Y from that percentage
Yeah.
because I know it's going to sell your house faster and it's going to expose it to more realtors who have clients.
So the person, so in this case, if I'm the seller and I pick a number, call it 10%.
Okay.
And I say, hey, 10%. Now,
That's great. Let's
yeah,
do it.
I know. It makes the numbers easier. It's not 10%. It's probably like 2, but okay.
What's the most? Like 6%, right? I think.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
All right, call it 6. All right. So I said, hey, we're going to do 6.
I'm not a real
okay?
estate person. I can say it.
And then the buyer comes and you tell me, hey, listen, of that 6, I'm going to give the buyer 2. So now I don't have to pay any more. I pay the 6 that we agreed on.
Correct.
And now you're sacrificing the other 2 to get the best.
Correct.
That's
Because as a real estate agent, my job is to sell your house to the highest bidder, not necessarily to my buyer so I can keep the whole 6, but the highest bidder.
yeah.
If I'm trying to do whatever I can to keep the whole thing, I'm not holding up my end of the bargain for you.
You're not doing
Right.
your
Right?
fiduciary duty.
Fiduciary.
Now, is that not the case in is there other cases where it's like, hey, we're going to agree on 3% and then whatever the buyer wants, I got to pay them too? Is this like a specific
No, this
case
has always
that how
been like
you...
this. So the reason
Okay.
this lawsuit came about was, I guess, that particular realtor didn't properly disclose that, hey, of that, let's call it 6%, I'm going to be sharing with the buyer's agent. He didn't disclose that.
Oh, so then the seller was like, well, you didn't tell me
it's
that.
It's all about just fucking talking.
But
and
why would the
explaining-
Why would the seller care if you share it or not?
Because they felt like, okay, I should just pay you the 3 and let the buyer get their own 3.
Oh yeah, because it's like, oh, you're okay, yeah.
So
he's paying the buyer. Okay, yeah.
right, but the buyers, when you're buying a house, you bought a house, right? Your closing costs were probably around 5% of your purchase price. Title fees, attorney, bank fees, origination fees, all that shit. It added up to about probably 5% of your purchase price, 4 to 5. So the seller has their 5%. You have your 5% as the buyer. So everything was pretty even. So now you're telling buyers that they now have to go hire their own real estate agent and pay them X out of pocket. That's just going to raise their closing costs. So what about the people who don't have 10 or 20% down? They're putting 3.5% down. What about the veterans who have the opportunity to put 0% down? Maybe they don't have the money.
VA loan or something?
Yeah, VA loan. Yeah.
That's.
I feel like I feel like it's just.
So what we have
I feel
to
like
do now,
it's like a money game. It's like everything nowadays. It's just everybody's trying to get like.
Well, we do live in a capitalistic society.
No, I
That's
get
what
the
happens.
capitalist. I get the capitalism, and capitalism is fantastic. But I feel like there's some areas where there's
Scratches your head.
There's like fees. Like, why is that added in there? Oh, because gotta pay Johnny Pence pushover. He needs to keep a job. We're gonna pay him, but he's not doing fucking shit. But you gotta pay him, right?
You got to pay your admin fees. What's our
You know
admin
what?
fees? Someone that actually sits in front of a computer and types up a policy. You have to pay for that.
Or it's like the government's like, you know how we're gonna make extra? Oh, we're gonna raise everybody else 1% up. That's guess what? Thank you for the extra $2 million in my pocket. Like, for why though? Because they
so
can.
where is the latest on that?
So now on the listing agreements, they're pretty much split up. This is what you're going to pay the listing agent. This is what you're going to pay the buyer's agent.
So there's no hidden fees.
There's no hidden. There was never hidden fees. You just had to fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't hidden. It was there, but they didn't. It was like the fine print that they didn't. It was like, hey, listen, it was there, but you didn't read it. But it's like, listen, you're not doing your job. Like you're supposed to explain it.
So how about instead of doing this, how about we fix the barriers to entry and get rid of these fucking assholes who are taking advantage of people all the time? Because they exist.
Yeah, you mean like the big Black Rocks of the world that are buying up all the houses and then selling them back? Mm-hmm. That's a whole nother issue. That's why the housing prices are through the freaking roof. And it's I had a friend of ours that was trying to buy a house. They had rented a house from a nice family that had went to, I think they went up to like Connecticut, or maybe they were snowbirds, went to Florida. They're like, hey, you guys can rent our house. We're going to go down here, and we're not sure if we're going to come back or not. We might stay down there, and then you can just rent it out indefinitely, but we might come back. And it turns out that they came back, and they kind of got kicked out of the house. So they were looking for a house. And it was 6 months ago. And they're like, I can't. It's like, I don't know how to compete with these freaking Black Rocks of the world that are coming in. They go, a house goes up on the market for $600,000. He goes, and we're putting in an offer $675,000, and we're like the 13th lowest on the list.
Well,
and he's like, because these big black, they come in and they put $750 cash. They go,
that goes to lack of inventory.
And they're like, we can't. They go, how am I supposed to compete with these cash offers? They go, we're a 30-year-old couple. Right. We don't have $750,000 cash to put down on a house, but these guys come in, cash. You know why? Because they're going to buy it up and then they're going to rent it out for twice the mortgage.
I know a family in Westchester. They just paid $200,000 over the asking price.
How do you like?
And
crazy.
I mean, and they're just average families, but not everyone's got that fucking luxury. I'm paying $200,000. I'm sure you've seen it, but
was it a cash offer?
I don't know if it was a cash offer or not, but they're like,
because I can see like, okay, you get approved for a loan, you could go up to $850,000, and you have a house that's $600,000. Like, hey, we're going to offer $800,000 because that's what we got approved for. But I'm talking about the cash offers. You got young couples that are just got married, looking to have a kid, settle down, get a house, maybe 30 years old, late 20s. They don't have $750,000 in cash to put down on a house. No. Like the average American's, the average household income is barely over $100K. Barely. You can't afford that.
I'm seeing a lot of that. It's not necessarily just the corporations that are buying them up. It is just because of lack of inventory. So look at it this way. In 2020, 2021, average interest rate was probably, 2.5%, 3%. So if you bought a house then, right, you got 2.5%, 3% interest rate. Or if you already owned a house, you refinanced into a 2.5% or 3% interest rate. Yeah, so what's the incentive right now for you to sell your house and go somewhere else into a 6% interest rate?
Yeah.
The only incentive is if you were to completely downsize. And
so that's what I'm seeing. A lot of the people that are doing transactions right now are either somebody died, somebody's getting divorced, you're literally busting at the seams and you have to upsize, or you can't maintain your house because it's, you're an older couple and you have to downsize. It's not a lot of lateral movements happening.
Yeah. That would be like the only thing is, okay, you bought this four-bedroom house and you're like, hey, listen, we don't really need this house anymore. We can go with a 2-bedroom. And then you sell it for $800, you downsize to a $350, and it's like, but like you said, lack of inventory, like especially here in New York.
Get the lighter.
There is not I don't think there's a single house on the market decent house on the market in Long Island, New York that's less than like $500K. Nope. If you want a decent house, you can go to like maybe Riverhead and get some shithole for $275,000. It's like a 1-bedroom, 1-bath crap place, but to get a decent house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath that you can sit down and start a family.
What is it that you love about real estate?
Every day's different. Yeah. Every day's different. You get to meet a lot of families, get to meet a lot of people in the community. And think about it. You get to help somebody find the home that they're going to live in forever.
And that's what I was talking about. That's what you're
awesome,
selling.
Man.
You're selling that dream of...
But everybody has it. Shelter is something that's never going to go out of style. It's something that everybody needs. It's a necessity of life. It's like water.
But you're helping that family find their forever home.
Yes.
That's what you're helping. You're like, I'm not selling you a house.
That's a great commercial right there.
Yeah. I'm not selling you a house.
We're selling you your forever.
I'm trying to find you your forever home.
Right.
This could just be a regular house to anybody else, but to you, it could be a home for your family. And that's what you're really trying to help people with.
But again, so I'm taking them into the
write
home.
Commercials, man.
So here's where I don't see it necessarily as selling, right? I feel like if you walk into a house with a buyer, a salesperson would be like, oh my God, look at this kitchen. You can do this and that. Look at this fucking massive bedrooms. This is beautiful. Oh, I could see you here watching TV, having Christmas.
You like
dinner.
it, right? You like it, right?
You like it. Yeah, you like it, right? Oh, there's a leak over there. Oh no, that's nothing. Don't worry about it. That's a salesperson to me. For me, I have to listen to, hey, they're going to tell me this is what we need. And if we walk into a house and I see problems with the house, I'm going to tell you. If you tell me, we need a maximum, we need a minimum 2 full bathrooms, but this house only has 1 bathroom, be like, hey, this isn't going to work for you.
You're not even going to show it to them.
No.
We get back, listen.
Even if they send it to me, I'm going to remind them.
Because that hurts your credibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, why would I
No. Because like you said, you're not just trying to when somebody says like, hey, I'm looking to buy a house or something, you're not trying to just get anybody in there. You're trying to find the best fit. Somebody comes to you, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, well, I'm not gonna. I have this, and this. Not even gonna show them to you because that's not what you want. Why am I gonna bother? Why am I gonna waste your time showing you this house? Yeah, I could probably convince you. Maybe no, I'm not trying to convince you. This is what you want.
Yeah.
These aren't in that category. I'm gonna look for something that fits you. And even that's probably annoying if somebody shows you a house that is not even
it's annoying and it's a waste of their time and your time. And even more importantly, if you're sitting there I always like to have a consultation before, at my office before we step foot into a house. I want to understand what your needs are. I I want to understand if you can fucking afford a house. And if you're telling me
that's a whole other aspect.
And if you're telling me that your budget is X and you want to live in Eastchester, Scarsdale, or Bronxville, or wherever, and your budget doesn't meet the expectations or the prices of the area, I'm going to tell you, hey, like
straight up,
maybe save a little bit more money.
Yeah,
let's wait a year. Let's wait 2 years.
Yeah, like what is do you have any maybe?
And you'll be surprised how many time wasters there are in this industry.
I was just gonna say, how do you kind of qualify a buyer or I guess a seller in that? How do you, this is a good buyer? Like, how do you qualify a good buyer? Obviously, they have funds.
Somebody that is ready, willing, and able to make an offer in the next 30 days is an A buyer.
Because I always say buyers are liars, right? So, can you kind of see they're kind of like twiddling your strings, like, yeah, I got all the capital, I'm ready to go, let's do this, and then
I'm not taking you out unless I speak to your lender. Unless you've went through the full pre-approval process and not just somebody handed you a piece of paper, but you've submitted your tax returns, your pay stubs, they ran your credit, and I have a conversation with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is how much improvement. This is how much I got cash put down right now.
I want to know. I want to know what the max taxes you can go for. I want to know, do you want to be? If you say, okay, I got to be 40 minutes from the city, is that door to door? Is that like what's important to you?
Yeah.
Like, are you okay with taking a train? Does it have to be 40 minutes highway? Right. You okay with a train? So I want to ask you, do you? I have a couple of questions that I want to ask. One of them's kind of like go off on a funny thing, but do you see a trend that people are maybe overextending themselves in today's? Because I feel like
going into more debt.
Yeah, well, I feel like the debt is a big problem with some of the younger generation now, especially like when they get told, "Oh, I can go to school and somebody's going to pay it. No, my student loans are forgiven." Oh, that's not how it really fucking works. Okay, if you take out a debt, you gotta pay it back. Okay, because they wipe it out. Somebody pays for it. Doesn't disappear. And who pays for it? Us with taxes. But do you feel that people might be trying to overextend themselves? Like, hey, I want to move into $1 million home just because my friend moved in it, or because I see that's what's successful on Instagram and I want to be the cool.
Keeping up with the Joneses?
Yeah. Do you feel like maybe social media has a little of an impact, saying like, I got to be cool and flat and
not even just social media. What I hate or plays a big part in exactly what you just said is these real estate TV shows.
Oh my god!
Oh gosh,
I fucking hate
having a newborn. All my wife does is watch either the Food Network
seen those memes, right?
or HGTV.
You want what I think is,
we make $100,000, but my budget is $900,000.
I find that hysterical when you have as the couple and it says like he substitute teacher, her stay-at-home mom, budget $3.5 million.
I've seen a lot.
What?
But as much as touch on Ryan Serhant, right? So
who's he?
Really?
Ryan, what's his name?
Ryan Serhant?
Ryan Serhant? You guys don't know who Ryan Serhant is?
I'm not in the real estate business. I don't know who that
Millionaire Real Estate Agent on Bravo?
I don't watch Bravo. Okay, I watch ESPN and Netflix.
Can I
What's
Google
his name? Ryan? Yeah, Google him.
You know who Ryan Serhant is.
Maybe if I saw maybe if we see his face, but I'm not watch the real estate shows.
Yeah.
I'm quoting the memes that I see on.
But everybody knows Ryan Serhant.
Maybe he's got the face. Maybe he's got a face.
Maybe
Ryan Serhant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know this.
Yeah, okay. There we go.
Okay, yeah, I know this guy. He's on like Bravo and stuff.
Yeah, so he started the whole. He's on Netflix. He's got his own show on Netflix now.
Okay, I don't know that was his name.
So he started on that Millionaire Real Estate Agent show, and now
$1 million listings.
$1 million listings.
Is that
the
one?
Oh
okay.
yeah, $1 million listings. I'm sorry, that's the one.
Is that
$1 million
him?
listings. That's
okay,
him.
okay.
And he parlayed it. Now he has his own brokerage and he has his own TV show. But I think it's shows like that give people a false reality of, number one, what it's like to be a real estate agent, and number two, what it's like to buy a home.
Yeah.
Do those shows, when a couple comes on and says, "Hey, you're going to be on an episode and we're going to film it," do they give them
I don't know.
Because I feel like that has to be the reason.
I feel like they have to get some kind of benefit.
If you let us film it, we'll give you $100,000 as a down payment. I'd be like, film it. Yeah, film it all you want.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you?
There's no other explanation.
But you don't just look at 3 homes and then you pick one. That's just not how it works.
And that's all it is. I'm telling you, in the morning, because we watch my wife says we don't want non-stimulating TV in the morning for the baby, right? So it's usually Food Network or HGTV.
Yeah.
So in the morning, I'm feeding the baby.
Melon?
No, not yet.
Well, the baby's young.
She's only 2 months. Yeah. So I'm just feeding the baby. I'm watching these HGTVs, and it's actually this morning they were in Mexico. They wanted to buy, this family retired and wanted to go in Mexico, and it's ABC home, and they're like we like B. And I'm like, you guys just saw 3. You guys are doing this big move from North Carolina to Mexico.
That's not how it's...
You just saw 3, and you're like, yeah, this is the one. And then you have to do $500,000 worth of renovations. That's what you like.
There's got to be a deal where they say, hey, listen, right? Okay, we're going to film you, but you can't look at like 10 homes. We're going to show you 3. You have to pick one. We're going to film it, and if you agree to that, we're going to pay for the house or something like that.
But they call it reality TV, and it's the furthest thing from reality.
It's not. That's not how it works.
That's my problem with it. And that's like back to your original question, a lot of these buyers with these unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, overextending themselves.
And I do think we're going to see a lot more houses come on the market because eventually these people are going to, the $200,000 over asking, it's going to catch up to you.
Yeah, they're going to be like, well, I can't do this anymore. And they got to sell it, and then they're going to sell it for a loss. Okay.
Right. And when
so you see that coming?
I that's my prediction.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe that it won't happen. And when I sit down with a buyer, everybody comes in, they're worried about the prices, they're worried about the interest rates. I say, forget those 2 things. They don't matter. What's your monthly budget for a house? What are you comfortable spending per month? Let's go from there.
Yeah.
Let's go from there.
Yeah.
Because if you
how much are you making a month?
Right.
And of that, what are you comfortable doing?
Right.
Because what do they say? It's like
a third
of it.
Right.
So it's like, okay, if you're making $10,000 a month, $3,000, maybe $4,000 is what you should spend on the house and the taxes,
insurance,
and
whatever it is to keep the house up and running, to keep the lights on.
Correct.
But so many people are going to I'm going to do $8,000. Like, whoa, wait a second.
And so many people come in and they're like, oh, yeah, I already have my pre-approval. I'm pre-approved for $1 million. I'm like, all right, great. Did the mortgage person talk to you about what that is monthly? No, but I'm pre-approved.
Yeah, that's like $10,000 a month.
Dude, all right, let's back up now. All right, like what you're approved for based on the guidelines may not be what you want to pay.
Yeah.
Well, and I also feel like some of the banks are at fault too because they'll just approve you for something that's like way you should not even be close.
I got pre-approved for so much. I was like, holy shit! I'm like, I can't afford that, but I'm like, they pre-approved me for this much. Like,
you know why?
I was irresponsible.
You went through the whole process. You did your tax returns and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had to give them all my tax returns, my my bank statements, the whole 9.
And you know why they do that? It's because it's a business. Banking is a business.
Yeah.
They want to get you into the biggest mortgage that they can so that they make money off of you.
I saw a thing, actually. It was Grant Cardone. He started talking about how housing became a business. And it says, we have this structure. How do we sell it? How do we get money from it?
Mm-hmm.
And the banks were like, all right, that's where mortgages come in.
Yep.
We'll figure out some figure. And if you want to, we'll sell you the American dream, and the banks will give you the money for it, and boom, now you have a mortgage industry, now you have a real estate industry. He says it a lot more. I'm paraphrasing, but he says it a lot more intuitively and insightfully. And I'm like, holy shit, that makes a lot of sense. But I mean, it's true.
No, but that's how this whole what they call like the American dream and like they call it like the formula for success, right? What do they tell you to do? They tell you to go to school. Right, go to college. We just talked about how college. They tell you to go to college. They tell you to buy a home. Right, get a car, get the fan. And what do all these things require? They require you to go into debt. Why do they want that? It's because the banks make money off of debt.
Yeah,
that's how banks work. Banks don't make money from you depositing. Okay, they make money from lending that to somebody else on the basis of debt. They give debt to somebody, say we'll cover costs, and then you pay me back interest, and that's how they make the money. So they set up this whole structure for Americans to go into debt. They want you in debt because they make money. And then what do all these big successful people say? First thing to do, get out of debt. There's good debt and there's bad debt. If you're going into debt to buy a house just to say I own a house, that's not good debt because you're paying interest on you're just to say you own it. Why? But if you say, hey, some of these guys say I'm going to buy this house, but I'm buying it so that I can use it as an investment. Now I can rent it out and make money on this. Okay, you're using debt as a good thing. People say, oh, I want to get the fanciest car. Why? What do you need? It's going to take you from A to B. Why are you going to go into debt for $100,000 on a car? What is that point? They want you in debt because they make money off of you.
Do you see any, we're talking a lot of negative trends here. Do you see any positive trends in real estate industry?
You get to build equity.
Yeah.
You get to build equity in something. And I hear what you're saying, too, just about the buying of the house. But think about renting versus buying. It's literally flushing money down the toilet when you're renting, in my opinion. However, when you're paying your $5,000 a month mortgage, it's going right back into your house. You don't see it. It's not necessarily in your bank account, but you're building equity. You bought this house how long ago?
I actually rent this house.
You rent this house?
Yes, I rent this house.
Oh, well, there goes my... You bought your property how long ago?
Come talk to me.
But see, no, it's funny because I can see I think that there's positives and negatives.
I was waiting for that
both.
to drop because you're like, yeah, you own this house, and I'm like, no, he rents this place.
There's positives and negatives. I believe on both sides of it, because yes, you're putting equity into the house and you're building equity, but what are you going to use that for?
You can use it for anything you want.
If you use it for anything you want.
If you don't, your kid's going to get it.
But then again, once your house is paid off, do you actually own your house?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Well,
Because
you
stop paying your taxes. Who comes and gets your house?
Okay, fine, but the taxes are one thing because that goes into something completely different. But right now, by renting, you're building your landlord's wealth with your own money.
Something goes wrong with the house, though, I don't have to pay for it.
That's just the things that happen with owning a home.
And if I told you what I paid for this house, you'd be like, "Yeah, don't." Okay.
but
You'd agree with me if I told you.
Okay, but over the course of 30 years, how many times will something go wrong with your house? On average, I'm just.
I mean,
just a general question.
I mean, I could tell you 10 things that have gone wrong with this that I haven't had to.
So this house, if I had to take a guess, I don't know the Long Island market like I know the Westchester market, but let's just say this house is worth $500,000. Okay, you buy it with 20% down. You put $100,000 down. You have a $400,000 mortgage. You pay it off in 30 years. The house might be worth $1 million. So you made $500,000. In that 30 years, do you think you will spend $500,000 on repairs?
No, but my $400,000 mortgage is not going to be a $400,000 mortgage in 30 years. I would have paid much more than $400,000 on interest.
Okay, so let's just say you paid $700,000 mortgage. Do you think you'll have $300,000 worth of repairs in 30 years?
Probably not. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I
so
guess
you have to think.
However,
of the lifetime investment.
However, there's a flip side of it too. If this house is what would be your mortgage on $400,000?
Depends on the interest rate. Depends on how much money you put down.
What would be your?
I don't know. Let's make up a number. $3,000.
$3,000.
I'm just making up a number.
Okay. Now, if your rent is less than $3,000, okay, let's say it's $2,000. That extra $1,000, if I'm investing that in the stock market every single month that I'm saving, in 30 years I will have way more than an extra $300,000.
So you're telling me you won't have an extra $1,000 to do both? An extra $1,000?
Well, no, I'm saying if you were to take, okay, if I have a mortgage that's
right.
$3,000, but my rent is $2,000. Okay, the $3,000 I'm putting into the mortgage at the end of the 30 years, I own the home, and now my home's worth $1 million, and I have $300,000 profit if I were to sell the home. But now I go back, I don't buy the home, I rent it, I'm paying $2,000. The extra $1,000 that would have gone towards the mortgage I put into the stock market. In 30 years, that $1,000 every single month is going to be well over $1 million.
But the reality of it is, there's no way you're renting a house for $2,000 a month.
Well,
and also
we're gonna.
But also on the flip side,
we'll talk after.
On the flip side, not 99% of people aren't diligent like that.
They're not putting,
That's 99%.
But that's like, but there's also, I mean, I can see both sides of it.
Yeah, I would say between this little back and forth, there's different viewpoints on each side.
I also think real estate is a safer investment than the stock market.
Yes, yes and no.
How often will a crash like 2008 happen with the housing market? Not very often.
Yeah, well, the same thing with the stock market. The stock market has gone up in the last 100 years plus every year on average 10%, and it's never failed to recover from a crash.
But now look at your landlord. Let's flip this. You're paying your landlord $2,000 a month in rent. His mortgage is, again, we're just making up numbers here, $1,000 a month. He's profiting $1,000 every month. You're paying off his mortgage. He is not taking a penny out of his pocket. Not taking a penny. So let's say you buy this house for $500,000. In 5 years, you have $100,000 worth of equity. You take that $100,000, you buy yourself an investment property.
Now that's where I'm getting into buying a home and using good debt.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not going to do that, and you're just going to buy the home to live in it for the rest of your life, then there's really no point Because if you are going to say, hey, listen, now I have this much equity, I can do a cash out refi, now go buy another
or you
property.
could take that money, put it in the market,
or like you said, my landlord, he bought the house and now he's renting it out to make it now it's a different story. Now I agree with you.
But you can use that money for anything. You can put it in the market. You can towards college. Pay off other debts. You can
I feel like this conversation is a very high level conversation. I feel like
people don't think like that.
Majority of Americans, they're like, I'm going to buy a house, and that's it. They're not thinking of these conversations.
Right. And that's I'm kind of glad you came on so we could like.
That's what I'm saying. 99% of what we're saying all makes sense, both sides. But not, I would say maybe more than 90% of people in America are not thinking.
That's
like,
a shame.
But see, and that's great. No, but it's great that you
100%.
you explain it out and say like, listen, okay, yes, you build equity, and then the equity that you've built in, you can take it out and then get another, and now you're developing a portfolio, a real estate portfolio,
and that's how you're building wealth.
And that's how you're building wealth. But a lot, like Eric said, the average American is not doing that. They're listening to everybody else on Instagram saying, hey, you need to get a home. And they go, okay, I'm going to buy a home. But they're not thinking about, hey, I can build equity and then I can get myself a second home and rent it out and then a third home.
Because every
don't think
year,
about that.
I mean, I've only lived in my place for 2 years, but like every 6 months, I'm like, I wonder how much equity I have in this place yet. How much is this worth now? Can I take anything out of it?
Well, now take it back to my profession. Did you ever have this conversation with your real estate agent?
No.
See what I mean?
Yep, no. This is why Roman the Realtor is you got to follow him on Instagram, okay?
Well, now any real estate needs, I know where to go.
So I want to bring this up because this is what we had talked about how we were going into like when we were saying how our parents or some of the older generations like, oh, well, I owned a home by the time I was your age and I was doing this, that, next thing. And I'm like, oh, listen, it's not as easy as it was to buy a home.
No doubt.
And they're like, oh, I said, hold on a second. Let me do the numbers for you, okay? So I don't know if you know this and agree or disagree, but it was actually easier to buy a home during the Great Depression than it is right now. And I'm going to tell you the numbers because I have them up here. So this is like a very basic numbers. Average annual salary, okay, back in the Great Depression, $1,500 a year, okay, average annual salary. And during the Great Depression, it's one of the worst times in American history, okay, as far as like economy.
You're gonna break it down by percentage wise of income.
Watch, $1,500 annual salary, okay, interest rate. 3.5%. Average home cost, $5,000. So the home cost was about 3 times the average salary.
Yeah.
Okay, at 3.5% interest. Present day, this is 2023's number because we're not completely done with 2024. Average salary, $60,000 a year. Interest rate, 7%. And the average home cost, $400K.
This is for the country.
This was America. $400K, $60,000. So your house is roughly 6.5 times the average annual salary versus 3 times of the Great Depression.
It's insane.
And this is what I'm saying. I'm like, you don't understand that. Okay, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, when you're making $40,000 a year and the two of you working, you're pulling in $80,000. Your house was only $150,000. It's 2x your salary. Okay. But now the average person is doing $60,000, and together maybe you're making $120,000, but you can't get a house for less than $500,000. I mean, said it's like 5x your.
And your $500,000 house is a fixer-upper.
That too. And on top of that, you're paying 7% interest versus 3.5%. Yeah. So not only is the housing price 6x your salary, but the interest rate is double.
My dad was 30 years old.
It's nuts.
He bought his first house. He was married. He had me. He bought it. He bought a house, and by 30, he had my house upstate. I mean, granted, he bought it with my uncles.
Yeah,
two uncles.
Yeah.
Actual upstate.
Yeah, actual upstate. Catskills. And
he's up in like the
my neighbor is legit a trailer with a dormer attached on top of it.
Cool.
Yeah, sick.
That's awesome.
Cool people. But and it's like a population of like 5,000 people. But yeah, I'm like, Dad, how did you do this? Like, I was 30 buying my 2-bedroom co-op, and I was like losing my mind. I'm like, I fucking know how to do this. But He's like, it was just a different time.
Yeah.
I think society too plays a big role in it, and I think maybe back in your parents' days, my parents' days, there really wasn't.
How old are you, by the way?
35.
35. Okay, so we're all the same age.
I don't think there was a lot of commercialized shit to spend your money on.
That's
like,
true too. Yeah.
Right, like they saved.
Yeah.
100%.
They really saved. They penny pinched, and they did whatever they had to do just to get by, and they put away every single fucking penny on things that actually matter.
Yeah.
And I think that
And I'm buying Jordans.
Yeah.
True.
And I think,
True.
but and that's why
Gucci
I kind of
bags.
say that, like,
Mhm.
that this, the internet, the World Wide Web, right? For people that don't know what WWW stands for,
Gen Zs.
but the whole social media aspect of now you're seeing what like your friends are doing, and you're trying to like keep up with the Joneses. Like, oh, my friend's got a new iPhone, I got to go buy a new iPhone. My friend just bought the brand new Mercedes, I got to buy a brand new Mercedes, right? And it's like you're trying to compare, and comparison is the thief of joy, instead of just saying like, listen, I don't need that.
Comparison is the thief of joy. I like that.
It is, right? It's like
that's a good line.
Yeah,
you
that's a
start
good line.
you start comparing with everybody else.
You
You're
start
trying
using
to
that in
like,
your consultant meetings.
you're trying to like keep up instead of taking a step back. Like, do I need this? No. Is this going to make me happy? No. I don't need a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath when a 3-bedroom, 2-bath would work.
Right.
You know, if it's just us and we're planning on having 2 kids, we have 1 master and 2 bedrooms. I don't need 6 bedrooms.
That's
But they're like, well, my friend bought one, so now I want one. It's kind of like it's like a big dick contest.
dick measuring contest.
You know,
yeah.
exactly. You know, you got $1 million. I just bought this $1 million too. Oh, I bought the $100,000 Mercedes. I just bought 150.
You hate those
like,
one-up. I hate those one-up people.
But that's
it's like,
what
yeah,
this-
I just bought a new Jeep, and they're like, well, I just bought a new Maserati.
But that's what people want. People are
Okay,
trying to get the attention. They want the likes. So they're like, hey, I'm going to go buy the $1 million and post it on Instagram because I'm going to get the likes
That's
for
the
it.
negative aspect of
You know?
social media. I
It's-
agree. Yeah.
Let me let's
But
let's,
I thought that's cool with the Great Depression
That's wild.
stats. And
no,
I'm
that's,
like,
that stuff I was
that's wild, right?
That's what I was talking about before. Like, I think a guy did the comparison like the 1980s to now, and it was like similar numbers.
And that was the Great Depression, the worst economic time.
Because it does go by percentages of, because you can be making $1 million, but if your house is $10 million at a 7%, it doesn't matter if you're making $1 million. It doesn't.
Well, what's his name? Gary Vee says it too. He goes, "It's not about how much you make; it's how much you keep."
Yeah.
Right. If you make $1 million a year, but you spend $950, the person that makes
You got dick.
the person that make that
You got no dick.
The person that makes 120 but spends 50 has more money than you. He keeps 70 of it. You're only keeping 50. Who's doing better?
Now let's talk about this. This is a.
I like this. This is good.
This could be a burn down first.
This is a good conversation. This is the first we've ever gotten. Like, this is a good conversation.
Well, this is what it's all about. But now I'm gonna pivot.
Oh boy,
I'm gonna pivot here. Ready?
By the way, we're at 1 hour and 12.
All right,
So I don't know what your schedule's like, but we can go for.
I got about another 30.
Okay.
You're a dad.
I am a dad.
I'm a dad.
Dad talks.
Oh.
Justin's becoming a dad.
I'll be a dad in
Let's
4
do
months.
some. Let's do some
Congrats.
dad. Let's do some
Congrats.
dad talk. Let's do some dad talk here. Because Roman texted me a couple weeks ago. He's like, "Yo, what can we do for some content? What can we do collaborate?" And I'm like, just fucking around. I was like, let's make some dad content. And he's like, that's a good idea.
I got to say, the amount of clips that are going to come out of this one is going to be great for the content.
Yeah.
The amount of clips that we have,
I'm excited for that.
So my question is very easy. How fun is it being a dad?
It's the greatest thing in the world. It really is the greatest thing in the world. And I know people, it's not a cliche that people just say it.
You don't know it until you're actually a dad.
Dude, I'm telling you, when you hold your son for the first time,
I'm already like,
you're going to be a bitch.
I'm already
A
like,
fucking
I have a girl, right? I am. If you listen to my tonality at my house, you would be like, "Does this guy take his man pill this morning?"
you bitch.
I'm like, why, baby? I'm like,
Wait until your daughter starts talking
bro,
and stares into
No.
your eyes.
Okay, let me
No.
ask you, what was it like the first time they said, "I love you, Dad"?
Oh, I was in the car. I was
Is
crying.
that like,
I cried.
ball in your
Yeah?
I cried. The first time she said, not that, she said, "Daddy, Daddy will fucking melt you." Fuck. Because
So you have
a
two
boy
kids?
and a girl. I
You
have
have
a
a
boy.
boy.
And my daughter had first, and my son is my youngest.
And how old are they now?
My daughter's 3.5. My son's 1.5.
Okay, so he's starting to
He doesn't shut up. He talks very well for his age.
and he
Very
said,
well.
"I love you, Dad," too.
I love you, Daddy.
Now it's different. Okay,
Everything.
what's the difference between the girl and the boy?
Right now, not much because they're still so young. But my daughter, I don't know how your daughter is too. Like my daughter was calm. She was chill. I'm like, this baby shit is easy.
Yeah.
She sleeps.
I just told Justin. He's like, "How's the baby?" So I'm like, "Bro,
My son is a fucking maniac.
that's what I hear though. I hear my daughter, the best, slept,
Yeah.
so easy. Knock on wood. My son, terror, absolute menace. I can't. I'm like, fuck, really? That's how it is.
You know what though? Wait until they're teenagers and then see who's going to be
Yes,
easier.
yeah.
Then it's going to
100%
flip.
correct. It's
Because
gonna flip.
as soon as your daughter starts
gonna
dating, you're
flip.
going to be a You better. I say 10 o'clock. You better hold me 9:55. I'm coming for you. I'm coming.
But like, don't get me wrong, even the young girls, like your daughter, when she's about 1.5, she's gonna realize how she has you by the balls, and she's literally gonna test you to no end. She knows she's got you. She knows what to do to make you say, "Yeah, okay, no problem. Just do whatever you want."
I can already see it happening. I mean, bro, like I said, I think I told Justin this, and of course, I got smoke in my eye. But
sure, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, girl. Dad.
Yeah,
I understand.
Right.
I feel.
Luckily, my defense is a common occurrence on the podcast. I always get smoke in my eye.
You could cry.
Yeah,
Real men cry.
No, that's what I'm getting to. The first 48 hours when my daughter came into this world, oh my god. I don't think I've ever cried. My daughter. No, but seriously, I remember. I'm like, I just fucking couldn't stop crying. I'm like, Marissa's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I've never seen you cry." I'm like, "No, I'm not okay. I'm fucking scared. I'm fucking happy."
You're like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
I was like, I think I cried more in 48 hours than my whole life. I'm like, I'm like, you're gonna leave me alone with this human being and expect me to know what to do? Yeah. But
you have one job.
Yeah, you have one job.
Keep them alive.
Do you remember what was your first when you had your daughter first, right? What was the first thing you remember holding your daughter?
I can't believe she's here. She's mine. Like that's it. Like, this is my responsibility now.
Yeah.
I just have to keep this human being alive, teach them right from wrong, just teach them how to be a good person.
Yeah.
Like, you feel like you have the responsibility of the world on your shoulders. Even though it's just one person in the world, but you just got to make sure you be a good example.
Yeah.
And just it's
funny. The first time
the
first time that I saw, like, we went for the first ultrasound, and I saw him up on the screen, albeit small, but you see the shape, and I was just like, I was like in awe. I couldn't say anything. I'm just sitting there like with a big smile on my face,
mouth open, I'm like,
there he is. Like,
there he is.
That's my baby right there. And it's funny.
We made this.
So I'm looking at it, and he's laying on his back. Right, and he's got his and she's trying to get the hands right, and he's laying down, and all of a sudden his hand comes up like this, right, in the ultrasound. His hand comes up, and he leans back, and he goes like this. I'm like,
is he smoking a cigar?
Like, he's smoking a cigar. He's just like his dad. He's getting ready, and my wife's like smacking me. I'm like, look at him. Does that not look like he's smoking a cigar?
Let me ask, what hospital did you go to?
White Plains.
Okay, so all right. When you go to get the sonograms, how many pictures did you get? A lot.
No, like 3.
Thank you. That's what
3.
This motherfucker has a Rolodex.
I have like 20.
Who did you pay?
No, they just printed them all out for me.
Bro, he's rolling them. It's like this. I'm like, what is it, like 20 photos? I was like, I had to like ask. I'm like, hey, can I get another one? They're like, okay.
She just printed everything she took. She printed them out.
Dude, it's rolled up. He's like, hey, look at this one. Look at this one. I'm
Did
like,
you do the 3D sonogram too?
Yeah.
You got to go to a separate.
Yeah, we didn't do that. No. Not yet. At least.
No. We went to. It was the same room,
we had
person.
to go to a separate on Central Avenue in Yonkers. There's like a
3D
sonogram place.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah, did it in.
When do you do that? Because we just did we're at like 21, 22 weeks.
Yeah, it's coming soon. I think it's 28 weeks. 28 weeks you get the 3D. I think maybe. I could be wrong.
We went like a month before she was born, so she was like really there.
Yeah, and
I can't wait.
Did you guys find out like if it was a boy or a girl?
Obviously
you.
Well, yeah, I was in the space of let's get surprised, but my wife, she's very. I got a plan. I can't.
Did you do a gender reveal?
No. I didn't do a gender reveal. I just.
I hit a golf ball.
We FaceTimed our we FaceTimed our parents and we're like, we just showed like booties. We're like, it's a girl. But I remember when same I'm sure it's everyone's same experience. But I remember when they were weighing her and she's crying. I'm like, and my mother-in-law was in the room and she's recording me. And you could just see I'm just like petting the dog. I'm petting my daughter. I'm like, fuck, this is a real fucking thing. Like, this is crazy. And then I remember holding her and her lips still do this. Her lips were like fucking. Like Rocky Balboa, like kind of like crooked, and I'm like, I'm gonna remember this for fucking.
Like, is that gonna fix itself?
Yeah. I was like, holy shit, is that something wrong with that? And my one buddy was like, dude, when they come out, if it's a natural birth and their head is fucking warped and crazy and look like an alien, don't freak out because no one told me that, and I started to freak out.
That's why I put that little hat on.
Yeah. Luckily, it wasn't really morphed, but I was like, all right, that's good advice. And
because their skull is still soft.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And did you do like pre-birthing classes and stuff like that?
No.
Okay. Well,
it was pandemic still.
Oh, true. Okay.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I don't want to cut you off, but so you had both of them No, you had the first one during pandemic.
Yes.
Were you allowed to go into the delivery room?
Me, yes. Nobody else.
See, and
That's brutal.
Yeah, because I had heard,
No,
and I don't
with that. I don't want anybody else there.
No, well, I
In the
heard that.
hospital? To see the baby?
Yeah,
You were like, fuck it.
I
I wanted everybody.
No, but I heard that they
Anybody
some of them were like, no, you can't. It has to. It's
so the
and I would have
scary
been
thing
like,
was,
the fuck, you don't let me in that. We're having this baby in a hallway,
bro. They test you for COVID when you go in, and if I was, God forbid, positive, I would have had to go home.
I'd have been like, fuck no, baby. I would have been like, honey, you hold that baby in until I'm healthy. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're gonna have this in the bathtub at home. I was like,
Wow. Crazy.
could you? If a doctor ever told me, sir, you can't.
I know. It's
Or like when they say you know visiting, you can't stay in here. Fuck you.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
staying in here.
But I was getting at the pre-birthing classes, and I recommend you do it because, why I say this is because you always imagine babies being birthed, right? Coming out of the womb, all that. You imagine it. You don't actually see what it looks like. And luckily, I took this class at White Plains, and there was pictures and videos, and I watched it, and there was some other guys were like, is it normal to feel queasy? I'm like, fucking man up, bro. It's a fucking slideshow. But I said, thank God I was able to visualize seeing this because I wanted to be prepared to see what actually.
So did you
baby.
watch? Did you watch?
So the
that was
entire
my next question.
pregnancy, I'm like, I'm staying up north. I'm not coming anywhere near it.
Yeah.
You can't help it.
Yeah, you want to look.
And I feel like,
watch.
and so many,
You wanna
I
look.
feel like so many people are just like, oh, I don't want to look, blah blah blah. It's gonna scar me. I'm like, I go, dude, you
It's a
gotta
fucking
like,
beautiful thing.
Beautiful.
I'm like, you compartmentalize it, okay? Because everybody thinks that, all right, they're gonna look down there, and it's never gonna look the same, and I'm never gonna be able to. And
That's
I go,
bullshit.
but you're not like in that moment. You're
It's
not
what
looking.
It's not what you're thinking about.
You're not looking at your wife in a sexual manner.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So it's like it's different. Like you're not looking at it like, oh, I want to jump your bones right now. You're looking at this is the birth of your child. Like,
Yeah.
and that's just it compartmentalized. Like that's in a completely different part of the brain. It's not like I'm looking like, oh my god,
I agree.
You know what I'm
did you
saying?
Have to help,
Like-
did you have to help your wife? Like help your wife?
I held a leg.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
held a
easy-
leg.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a part of the job description because.
Well, no, they just told me. First, I was standing there. Well, so it was hours before, it was 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters. It was hours.
It was like 10. Just like
It was
10 centimeters.
10 centimeters when you're ready to go.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there on my iPhone. Nurse walks in. All right, 10 centimeters, ready to go. Fucking TV screens come from the ceiling. 17 nurses are in there. This wire, that wire. Dad, grab a leg. So I grabbed the leg, and then, I think it was like 15 minutes later. It felt like an eternity.
Bro,
She was there.
15 minutes. Damn, good for your wife.
Would you have 45 or something? Like hour?
No, Marissa pushed for an hour and a half. But
Natural, right? Both of them. Do you have natural?
Naturally.
Natural birth. Natural
So
birth?
I was sitting on the side and that kind of thing. I was just kind of just like, all right, this is happening. All right. And the nurse, it was just one nurse in there. And the nurse was there for 45 years. This is like, she had like 4 more work sessions left before she retired. So she's like, all right, honey, you're doing a good job. And she's like, Dad, get up and help. I'm like, huh? What do you mean? She's like, get up and grab a leg. And I was like, what does that mean? She's like, you have to help push. And I was like, I don't have to do this. So I remember, you're helping her push, and I'm fucking getting all worked up. Marissa's like, you better not cry. I need you in this moment. I'm like, okay.
Like, suck it up.
I got this.
I'm like, because she's in fucking pain. You can't do anything. And she's like, don't you cry. I need you to. I'm like, okay, yes, all right. Oh my God, this is crazy. I can't believe this. But after all, and then the other part was we had a music playing. We had a speaker, this and that, and it just happened to be a stupid song came on. Marissa's like, Eric, please just change the song. I'm like, all right. So I go, and now the doctor's in there. So I move and I go to change the speaker, and he's like, what are you doing? Get back over here. We need you. I'm like, where are the nurses in here? Why do you need me so bad? Like, my wife wants to.
I'm paying you.
Yeah.
Why? Like,
she wants the song changed. I'm going to change the song.
you're like, if I'm helping you, then I want a refund.
Yeah, I want
some
a
of this money
discount.
back.
I
Okay.
want a fucking commission or something on this. I'm helping the fucking, But it was overall, it was just a
Magical
while.
moment. Magical.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, bro.
I had a funny story when my son was born. I was wearing a TVT sweatshirt, and it's about to go down. They're setting up, and the doctor asks my wife, "Hey, what's TVT?" I'm like,
Looking to buy a house?
Don't mind me. She's probably like, shut the hell up, Roman.
she just gave me a look. I didn't say a word. I was like,
Looking to buy a house?
I'll let this one slide.
So that's funny you said it because Marissa was like, Eric, please, no burn down stuff. No burn down t-shirts. No blueprint hoodies. Just please, just wear a black t-shirt or just something because I don't want people to ask, and you get in your mode and get excited. I'm like, okay, I won't.
Like, Marissa, this is networking opportunities, right?
Push. So what's the burn down? Hey, you like cigars? The baby's here. What? Oh shit!
I'm gonna have him in my thing. Like, Doc, good job. Here's a cigar. Doc, good job. Here's a cigar.
That's a fantastic idea.
Here's a cigar.
I support that.
So funny. But
Good job, Doc. You smoke cigars? Here you go.
Oh, you want to celebrate after this? Yeah, come here. You like a podcast? Yeah, check out the podcast. You want to be a guest on our show? Yeah, come on.
That would be
Imagine
crazy. Having the doctor delivering the baby.
That if we can get one of the doctors, my doctor's not coming on. So if we get your doctor, that'd be sick. But yeah, it's
And I think like when your kids
crazy.
are toddlers, and I'm just realizing this now. So my daughter's at the age where everything is why? What's this? What's that? Why is that car parked there? Why is that guy driving that way? And when you talk to them and you just see the pure just innocence in their eyes, and they have no knowledge or realization of everything the three of us have talked about in the last hour of houses and taxes and all this bullshit, and you're like, fuck, just stay like this forever. Just like
they're
stay
constantly
like this forever.
learning.
their mind is mush. Their brain is mush.
new.
Yeah, and it's just that instinct to just protect.
Yeah,
Protect.
it's fucking nuts, bro.
It is.
I think I told you now, because I have 1,000 square foot 2-bedroom co-op. So
Are you growing out of it yet?
I know.
Wait till the next one comes.
Yeah. If I have another girl, all right, we have a couple more years. If I have another boy, then we might have to fucking bust out the seams. But I used to come to the podcast, smoke cigars, hang out for hours, come in. Now I stink up my whole house. I'm just like, it stinks in here. Change this and that. And I'm like, all right, whatever.
Before the baby, did she say that it stunk?
Oh yeah, I mean, but she was like, it stinks in here. And I'm like, sorry. So I would change outside, but she's like, it still stinks in here. Now there's stipulations. Now it's like, Eric,
There's rules.
I want you to do the podcast. I want you to have fun, smoke the cigars, but there's rules now. And I'm like, oh, more rules, fucking more motherfucking rules. I'm like, all right, what's the stipulations here? She's like, you have to ask Justin if you can take a shower. If he says yes, good. Take a shower there. Bring a change of clothes.
What if I said no?
I would figure something else out.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
What if I was like, no, you can't take a shower here?
The thing was,
Then what do you do?
I offered that. I offered that.
Gas station bathroom.
Yeah, I knew you'd be okay with it. So I was like, Marissa, what if I take a shower at Justin's? Because I'm like, Justin, I'm taking a shower. She's like, all right, take a shower at Justin's and bring a change of clothes. If I smell a lick of smoke with this baby in this house, I am gonna be. You're never gonna. I'm like, all right, done deal. So 2 weeks ago was the tester. So I took a shower, came home, nice clean. She's like, all right, it worked. And I was like, fuck yeah.
I told him he should do an experiment. One day, don't take a shower, and when she's like, just take a shower, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'd be like, it did. Yeah, no problem. I washed up, I'm good.
Yeah, but now it's on the podcast.
And see if she notices.
But now, she will notice me. You know why? Because it's going to be on my skin still. It's going to be on my fucking hair. I can spray all the cologne.
Good thing you don't have a beard, because that thing sticks in your beard.
Yeah, that's true too.
Sticks in the beard, man.
My wife has no idea I'm on a cigar podcast right now.
Oh,
she's
she
in for
don't
a
know.
surprise
She
when I
don't
get
know,
home.
yeah.
But you know what? In the end, just scrub this. You want to take a shower here? No problem. I got to change the boxers if you need it. But at the end of the day, I mean, I get it. Like, I don't want to come home and ring up my whole house and do that with the baby. So I just think it's funny. It's just that you got to adapt. It's just like anything in life. You got to adapt and pivot and fucking figure it out. Because I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to Long Island anymore and doing the podcast. That we got to figure out a fucking way to do it.
But that's the thing, is you can figure it out.
Yeah,
you figure it out. Some people are just like oh, it's this, that, and you got to be you're not gonna be able to do it. I'm like, you gotta like.
And that's why Justin is a great friend, great partner, because I know he's always malleable, always willing to like, all right, let's figure it out. Yeah, we want to do that. All right, let's do that. Because if he wasn't, we wouldn't be doing this podcast right now.
And with kids, once you have kids, life it's going to be a constant negotiation. I think the hardest thing about being a parent is childcare. It's childcare. Like, who's picking them up? Who's dropping them off? Who's watching them? I have a client. My wife's a special ed teacher, so she's with kids all fucking day. So when she comes home, she's not necessarily the happiest person.
Yeah. That's what my wife's afraid of. Because my wife right now is off for 6 months, and she's like, how am I going to go back to school, be with other people's kids all day, come home, take care of the baby, cook dinner, clean? Like, how am I going to do all this? And I'm like,
figure it out.
We got to figure it out. We got to figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
So,
and the good thing is you always do.
Yeah, you got to figure it the fuck out, man.
You always figure it out.
But that's it. Daycare's a whole other thing. So it's like it's
not cheap either, man.
It's fucking not cheap at all.
Talk about the price of houses. The price of daycare is a mortgage.
It's a fucking racket, and sometimes it feels like you're just like, for the amount that you're paying for daycare, depending how much money you're making, you're essentially just paying for your kid to be in daycare.
Yes, but they need that social environment. Don't keep them home if you have that opportunity.
Yeah. My wife's like, I'll be home all day. I don't want to fucking go back to work. I'm like, we gotta figure it out. We gotta figure it out.
I don't get involved in domestic situations.
Yeah, no. Everyone's case is different, but I mean, my wife, that's like her only goal in life. She's like a 1950s high. If she can be a 1950s housewife, that would be her goal. She's like, I'll take care of the baby. I'll cook. I'll clean. I'll do whatever you want. Just give me the opportunity. I'm like, all right, we gotta start selling more cigars.
I mean, if you can do it, I think it's a blessing.
Yeah,
like if you,
I would prefer it. I would prefer it.
And I mean, one of the things like I think about is if especially at that age, you had mentioned that they're always learning and they're always like absorbing everything, and if you can have the opportunity to have parents in the house raising the child, then you can instill your values and teach the child right from wrong. Yeah. But if you have to constantly put them in daycare, somebody's teaching them throughout the day. They're learning all day long, whether it's you're teaching them or whoever's the daycare. They're instilling whatever values they like. The child's learning at some point.
I don't know that the daycare necessarily. I don't think it's their position to instill values. You instill, like, my daughter's 3. She can do ABCs, counts to 100. Like, she's, I don't know. Everybody thinks their kid's the smartest in the world. I think she's gonna be a fucking genius. But I don't know that she would have been able to do that without being in daycare around other kids.
You don't think that you would have been able to teach her?
But when?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have the opportunity to, like, if you had the opopportunity where one of the parents could stay home, like, if you could work and your wife could stay home.
But then how does the child learn how to interact with other kids?
Well, that's what you have extracurriculars for.
That you now have to go to as well.
Yeah.
It's just a time thing. You either have money or you have time. It's a balance.
Yeah, because I worry. One of the biggest things I worry about is what they're teaching kids now, and I'm very.
I think that's more schooling.
Yeah, I know, but eventually, like, they're going to be going into these situations where sometimes they're teaching things that you don't want to teach your kids. Yeah. Right. Like, look at what they have in some of these preschools.
You're still at the end of the day, you're the parent. They're gonna, no matter who's in school or who's teaching them, you're gonna model right and wrong. The way
I hope.
I hope
there's some. I mean, there's a lot of things I see nowadays.
You will.
But it goes back to, we think a certain way. There's a lot of people now that you see these children, and I'm like, I blame the parents for the way that the children, because you didn't, like, okay, if the kid went to school and they taught the kid, yeah, listen, you're a young boy, you're playing with Barbies, maybe you should have been in a girl's body. Maybe you should cut your dick off and become a girl.
Wow.
And it's like,
but you don't say that to a kid.
But they do. But go to California. That's what they say.
So I'll use this example too. Like, I'm a big music guy. Going back to when Eminem was at the height of popularity, people blaming his music for acts of violence. Mm-hmm. All right. So there's 10 million people listening to Eminem, but there's only 10 people doing acts of violence. So is it the family and the parents, or is it Eminem? You know what I mean?
I always say blame the parents. I go back to the parents, right, because it's your job. And that's where I was actually talking to my wife about it and my mother yesterday, where I feel like nowadays some of the parents are trying to be their kids' friends instead of being the parent.
I agree.
Like, your role is not to be your child's best friend.
Yep.
Your role is to be the parent. But you are the dad, you are the mom, you are supposed to parent your child, not be buddies and best friends.
Right.
When you're later on, okay, now like I'm very good friends with my stepdad. I'm 34. It's different. Like, there's no longer that young age of being a parent. Yes, there's still a parent when it comes to being a parent, but like now it's a little bit more, hey, you can hang out and have a conversation.
I also think it just goes back to, obviously, effort, and going back to the whole real estate finance, like, kind of high level thinking. If your son, daughter's going to a school and they're teaching that nonsense, as long as you're doing the right things at home and instilling the good values, morals, and stuff that you want your kid to know, your kid will go to school and be like, well, you're telling me that's not right. It's not right. Why is it right?
I think it goes back to the parents. It sucks because back, when we went to school, you didn't have to worry about any of that stuff, right? You don't have to worry about all the crap that they're teaching. But now it is a thought. Like, and one of the things I said, well, if my child's going to a school and they're teaching all of these things, I'm like, well, you ain't going to that school.
Well, again, it goes back, because then if the kid picks up on that from school, and they go back, Dad, am I a girl? And you go, no, you're not a girl. This is why. Blah, 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 this is why. And they go, oh, okay. And then then you did your job.
It just shouldn't even be a conversation.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm
With a little
saying.
kid,
That's my argument. It's like you shouldn't have to have those conversations. But I've seen evidence of a lot of times when like parents coming to the school board and be like, why is this book is in pre-K? It says it's for 5 and up. And it's talking about how this eggplant can suck the other eggplant's dick. Why is that in a 5-year-old's reading curriculum?
Is that a real book?
What's that? No, look. I mean, there's
what book is that?
But they're like, why?
No, there are books like that.
But that's what I'm saying. They're like, why this? I shouldn't have to have this conversation. My child should not come home and say, Dad, what does this mean? What does it mean when somebody else sucks another person's? Why are you having that conversation? You shouldn't have to have that conversation.
Yeah. And because they're not equipped enough to,
that's what it goes back
come to a conclusion.
I mean, even at taking it a step further, like I think in the state of Minnesota now, it's if your daughter or son is like, I want surgery now and I want to be a girl or boy. If you're a boy and you want to be a girl, you can be like, no, you're not doing that. You're 14, 15 years old. You can go now. They can go to Minnesota and just be like, yeah, sure. You want to be a girl? Sure, we'll pay for it.
They do it in California,
it's
where
fucking stupid.
California, if the child comes home or child wants to says I'm a boy but I think I'm a girl and I want to have whatever they call it, gender
affirming surgery,
gender affirming whatever the surgery is, and the parents say no, the state can take the kid from the parent.
Fucking dumb.
Because the parent's denying the kid's right to a surgery. And they're like, well, you're not doing the best interest of the child. We could take it from you. How does that make sense?
That's wild.
But granted, that's an extreme. It's not like that everywhere, but
it shouldn't even happen.
It shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen.
Too. Like there's extremes on in every level. Like my son, like he's fucking 1, so he sees my daughter putting her princess heels on. He's gonna put them on. He's a fucking 1-year-old. That's what they do. It's not necessarily because he wants to be a girl.
It's so funny because
he doesn't fucking
that's
know.
That's natural.
Because I've said that. I said that all the time. I said when in that case, right? He doesn't want to put on the heels and play with Barbie and wear a dress because he thinks he's a girl. He wants to because his sister is playing with that. He wants to play with what his sister's playing with.
Yeah.
Like, kids don't think about that. They want what the other kid has. If he's playing with army soldiers and she sees that, she wants to play with army soldiers.
They just want to relate.
They want to play with because you have it. No, now I want it. Like
5 words or 4 words goes back to the parents. That's what it comes down to.
Goes back to the parents.
I
think that it's if you just teaching your kid right from wrong, instilling the values that you hold in your household, like this is our household, this is our family, these are the values that we live by, and you instill those right from wrong, you're doing your job as a parent.
And when they get older, if they have their own values, their own thoughts, disagreements, and that's the route they want to go, by all means.
You can only do so much.
You can't control.
You can't control it. You can't control.
Granted, they don't think that, like murder is okay and stuff, and it's like, all right, well, listen, maybe your values are a little fucked up. Okay?
Daddy, I murdered this cat and I
Daddy,
took it
you
apart.
told me that murder is wrong, but guess what? I'm 18. I have my own. Like, no, you're fucking stupid. Okay.
Nah,
and maybe Daddy didn't smack you hard enough. Okay.
Now, next question. TVT, your company.
We're at 1 hour and 37 minutes, by the way.
All right, yeah.
So that's probably the last question.
Coming down to probably down to a couple minutes, but. Would you want your son to follow the footsteps of your dad, of your legacy of TVT?
Good question.
No.
If
he wants, I have this crazy dream that my son's going to be a hockey player. I don't know why, but I've got plans. Junior Rangers.
What's your wife's nationality?
She's Italian.
So you're a Ranger fan?
Diehard.
Yeah.
You think we got it this year or what?
No. No, we don't.
It's the same team except for one person.
Doesn't no nothing.
Are Ukrainians known for hockey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you speak Ukrainian by any chance?
I speak Russian.
You speak Russian?
Yeah.
But it's what they speak there, right?
No, it's like
kind of.
It's like Italian and Spanish.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
All right. So you got half Ukrainian.
You speak fluent Russian?
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You know who spoke Russian was
can you say I want a cigar in Russian?
Yeah. Я хочу сигару.
What?
What did it? Say it again.
Я хочу сигару.
Я хочу сигару.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He's good at fucking. I can't.
Cool.
I can't.
Cool.
That's pretty good.
Я хочу сигару.
How would you say?
That's the language class.
I really enjoyed being on the Burn Down podcast.
Мне очень было приятно быть на Burn Down podcast с Justinom and Ericom.
Love it. I love it.
Now give me some vodka.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Do you like vodka?
I did. Now more of a whiskey, bourbon, scotch kind of guy.
Dude,
anything
I
brown
knew-
with ice.
I knew I liked him.
Yeah.
I knew I
Anything
liked
brown
this
with
guy.
ice, I'm happy.
Yeah.
He likes hockey, cigars, bourbon.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You a
talking
golfer by any chance or what?
I am not very good at golf. No,
Do you enjoy golf though?
I enjoy the
Most people
social,
aren't good at golf.
I enjoy the social aspect of golf. The
it.
brown liquids and cigars that come
Exactly.
with it.
That's it.
That's 90%
Yeah.
of golf, bro. That's 90% of people like golf. That's me. I play golf with
suck.
Justin. I'm like, all right, Justin, you're carrying the team because
I'm done by 6 holes. Let's just get drunk.
Let's just get drunk.
It's all about the soul. Smoking cigars, drinking the
It's
beer,
funny,
being with the boys.
It's like when you start golf, it goes like one of after like that 4-hole, 5-hole mark. You either know it's like, okay, this is gonna be a really good round, or I'm getting fucking hammered. It's like you go either way.
Yeah, 100%. It's
Anyway.
It's a good bond. It's a good bonding. You got a boy now, so now you can.
Yeah, it's,
Hockey player, man. To be a Ranger fan, that's gonna
he's
be.
got no choice.
Now I can't, dude. See that first game that you're gonna go to. With
I
him,
can't wait for it. I'm thinking at like 3.
Because I remember.
They start that early playing hockey.
Playing, and then I'm going to take him to a game when he's like 3.
Oh hell yeah!
Because I remember like that was one of the best memories I have with my father was I originally was a hockey player. I played roller hockey, but I was a hockey fan. Like that was my first love was hockey, and then I switched to basketball later on. But I remember going to Ranger games in the Garden wearing a jersey that was 3 sizes too big for me, and I would get like a poster board and draw out like let's go Rangers and hold up the sign as a little kid. Like I loved that. It was just such an electric a vibe. I can't imagine doing it with my son.
I'm pumped for it.
I'm sure like all the different moments now that you indulge by yourself, you can imagine with your son or daughter being just like 10 times better now, right?
Dude, it's even watching my son, like I'll watch the Yankees and he just claps at the TV. He has no idea what's going on, but just watch him just clap at the TV.
You're like, good boy,
let's go.
good boy.
Yeah, I got tear slowly comes
Yep.
down.
Until he starts clapping for like the Red Sox. You're like, stop that.
Well, it could be he's a Patriot fan, so he might veer off.
Yeah, but you a Yankee fan?
Yankees, Knicks, Rangers, Patriots.
Oh,
Yankee, okay.
I know you got to get out of here, but how did you navigate to that?
So the same way there's a lot of 70s kids who are Steelers fans, a lot of 80s guys, who are Niner fans, and 90s guys who are Cowboy fans. They were the good team when
You
I
were
started watching
2000,
football.
yeah, 2000s. Yeah.
I think the first game I watched was the 2000 Super Bowl between the Giants and the Ravens. And then Tom Brady showed up the next year.
Yeah.
That's really how
Tom
it
Brady
happened.
the GOAT, man.
So I'm stuck now.
Tom
I can't-
Brady
I
the
can't
GOAT.
do
all
it.
right,
Yeah.
all right. I mean,
So would you arguably, you'd say Brady's the GOAT?
Oh, there's
Yeah.
zero doubt about it.
yeah,
Zero doubt about
it's
it.
really hard.
There's no argument. Why is it hard? It's easy.
No,
Well, you
no,
don't
I'm
know-
saying it's really hard to argue that he's not.
You know
It's
what's
really
what the
hard.
argument is?
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
it's strange because the argument that people are coming out like, oh well, when you're talking about like what do you want as a QB and like he can't run, he can't scramble, I said, but that's not what a QB should be. Like a QB should direct the offense, okay?
Correct.
But nowadays, ever since Michael Vick came, you got these QBs that are trying to be more like running backs
yeah.
and getting,
These crazy trick plays
65
out of the
rushing yards
pocket.
a game.
Yeah.
And it's like they're scrambling. Brady was a QB. It's just the same argument goes to nowadays where you don't really have traditional big men in basketball because all these big men want to go out and shoot threes. But you have when you have like a Kevin Durant or a Dirk Nowitzki, these guys that are centers, but they're going out and shooting threes. It's like nobody wanted to be the big man, Shaq, underneath the basket all the time. Never took a three ever.
I heard this crazy stat this morning. I was listening to ESPN radio, and I think it was Mike Greenberg said it, that Tom Brady, I forget what the drill was in the combine that year. What's the one where they run? Was the
40-yard dash?
40-yard,
or whatever it was. He had the worst 40-yard dash ever in history, and he was the best quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
He was drafted 199th.
Yeah.
And fun
He's
fact,
the best.
how do I want to say this? The one player that Tom Brady hated playing against and was always the most cautious around is a former Burn Down podcast guest, Ed Reed.
Yep.
Just wanted
Ed
to throw
Reed.
that.
You probably watched
throw
him
that
when
out
he
there.
played with the Ravens.
You had Ed Reed on this podcast?
Oh yeah,
You had Ed Reed.
How the fuck did you do that?
Yeah. He was sitting in his
Instagram.
mom's garage in
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
This was years ago.
It's great.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean he followed us on Instagram years ago, and this is when we were very new, so we wanted to build some street cred first before we asked him on. And he came on during a blizzard on Long Island, and I was working about 40 minutes from here. It took me almost 2 hours to get here in a blizzard because I was like, if I have to sleep here, I will not miss this interview. It was a great interview.
Yeah.
Ed Reed, baby.
Fuck.
It was cool.
That is
Ed
awesome.
Reed.
Greatest
Ed Reed.
safety. So he went from the GOAT, greatest QB. He's the greatest safety.
Yeah.
I
Arguably,
agree.
you know.
So, Roman, we're coming to the end of the podcast here. We know you got to get out. We like to give you the red carpet, kind of just plug your company, plug your socials, plug where people can find you, anything that you got going on, how people can get in contact with you with any real estate needs.
Sure. So we are a real estate team. We cover the Bronx, Westchester, Rockland, Orange, Putnam, Dutchess, and Fairfield County in Connecticut. If you do have any real estate needs, at roman.therealtor on Instagram, or you could just call me 347-403-4831. I'll definitely answer the phone.
Bam! There he is. My boy, Roman Vladimirsky from the TVT
Roman
team.
the
There you
Realtor.
go.
Roman
Appreciate
the
you
Realtor.
guys. Thank
We
you.
appreciate you coming on, smoking cigars, hanging out with us.
This was great.
Until next time, my friend, cheers, chin chin, and salud.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys, for watching and listening.